All right, YouTube's thinking about it. We might be there.
Technology's going to technology.
It is, yeah. Hopefully all the zeros and ones get in line and make it in the right order, and everyone's happy.
I mean, if you sort them, you just get all the zeros and all the ones. Isn't that more efficient?
You would think. Realistically, could we compress the data and simply say we have 427 ones and 396 zeros and figure it out on the other side? Like,
I'm going to do a quick BRB because apparently I left the stream open on my computer and I can hear it. Noob mistake.
Well, in the meantime, I'll just go ahead and get this thing started. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 411, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff, and as soon as he gets back, he'll be Vince. I'm pretty sure he'll still be Vince when he gets back. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, sometimes some Star Trek, sometimes we go off the rails, but it is always a good time. We also do the latest in home labs, servers, and tonight, maybe a little Arduino, Raspberry Pi, Qualcomm tangent.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah. All super chats are right on the air, so long as they will not permanently As you said earlier, words are hard.
Words are hard.
All super chats are run in the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel. We do drink alcohol on the show, and if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat, and we'll give some early show shoutouts as we go along. Today's episode does have sponsors, and that is Meter.com and Verda.com. Look them up down in the video description. More on them later. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to my Discord server where we have a fantastic time with the awesome community that hangs out there all through the week, including our annual Secret Santa, which is opening next Saturday on the 13th. And in fact, I had some fun on my laser this week, and I cut up a custom Secret Santa bottle opener.
Nice.
So my Secret Santa is going to be receiving one of these. And I thought about sending out a couple others, as well as if anyone wants to buy one, give me $5 and we'll send one your way.
Cool.
But anyway, Vince, welcome to the show again.
Howdy.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
So yeah, you all have seen Vince on the show here before. Gosh.
Yeah, if you're in the Discord, I need no introduction.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, go join Jeff's Patreon so you can be in the Discord and you get to chat with me because I'm in there 24/7. It feels like.
Yeah. For those not in the Patreon, who are you?
I'm Vince. I run the YouTube channel Circuit Rewind, also on Bluesky, and I focus a little bit more on hybrid retro modern technology. So like I have a 486 over here that has a custom FPGA-based HDMI card in it right now to actually capture the video feed raw from the old VGA card. So like hybrid stuff like that is what I love to play with. Which that reminds me, maybe that should be the video I should do for December. I was trying to think of like, what do I do for December this year? Maybe I'll go do that quickly this weekend.
There you go. You're talking about, I'm like, that is freaking cool.
Yeah.
What's really funny is I brought my retro rig downstairs today because I was thinking about doing like a retro rig like review because I never showed people how my retro rocket turned out. I did like 2 or 3 videos on me trying to build it. And then I got so fed up with it, I like threw everything away. And then finally I bought all the right parts and it's working perfectly now. But I never showed the conclusion. So maybe I should finally do that. And I was thinking maybe the week of Christmas, I'll break that one out. And
yeah, a lot of the retro tech tubers, they have something they call just December. So focusing on old DOS PCs and stuff like that. So that's a lot of fun. I do have another project right now that I'm working on, but I'm not sure how I'm going to present this now, both in terms of the contents of what it is and the scripting a video for it. I bought a hard drive for an Apple II or about that era on eBay. And yeah, hard drive for an Apple II. Think about that. That's kind of weird within itself.
Yeah.
and I pulled a bunch of content off of it. I have a raw dump of it, and I've been trying to decipher the file system on it. And it turns out that the file system is partially corrupt because the drive was partially formatted after the fact. And so a lot of the information on the file system table is missing, even though the files are still there. But that means I now need to reconstruct the few files that are left by hand with no table saying what start and end blocks go to which file and their file names and things like that. So it's like, I thought I had this really cool thing, and I still have a really cool thing. Because I know who the drive belonged to based on the contents that's on there, because it has the person's resume. And it is a really, really cool person.
Okay.
So
interesting.
I've seen like parts of a resume on there, and luckily back then we didn't have these modern complicated file formats. A resume was a text file.
Right. It was 2 slashes. Let's start a comment string, and then that's your text.
Yeah, and a lot of the resume stuff, yeah, there might have been some text formatting in there, but it was basic stuff where you'd have like a control character and then like one letter that says, oh, the next piece of text is going to be bold, like whatever. The rest of it's still just straight ASCII. You can read it and figure it out. So I'm still debating how I want to like format all this, show all this, but also not like invade privacy and all this other stuff based on some of the information that is on there.
Yeah.
So it's a interesting project for old retro stuff.
Yeah. I like retro PCs, but I do not have the space for retro PCs anymore, and so I have a couple that have been sitting on a shelf for a while. I have a really cool one from Unisys. It is a Socket 7. It's a Pentium 1 230. It's one of the 233 with MMX, and so it's like the fastest P1 chip that was made. But it's inside of a box that's about this big. Like, think of like the little bank terminals that you see with like the old Dell, thin clients and whatnot. It's about that size. It has 2 PCIs plus 1 ISA slot.
Decent enough,
and enough to get a sound card and a video card into.
A Voodoo card.
Right, a Voodoo, what have you. But I've been playing with that for a little while, trying to get it working, but I haven't found the right combo of hardware because it's also very, very compact inside. And so, like, you can't just, like, throw a sound blaster into the back of that thing and have it work. There's just not enough physical space.
Also, not tech support here. A resume should still be a text file, dang it. LaTeX. Admittedly, LaTeX is one of the few old formats I actually don't know how to do off the top of my head. I would have to go look up a manual on how to do LaTeX documents. But yeah, that was a huge text formatting thing back in the day.
Yeah. But yeah, so I tried to build a couple like small form factor ITX-ish machines out of thin clients, and ran into thermal issues and power issues and all kinds of fun stuff. Finally, like, bought a nice little aluminum ITX case and was trying to do a retro rocket. And so get like as fast of a modern chip as possible, but still have backwards compatibility for Windows 98. And I actually got it running. The problem was it didn't have sound. I did eventually find a Crystal 97 on a USB that I could throw at it, but I hated the external dongle. And I had bought a PCI breakout board, so I had 2 PCI slots in this little ITX case. That PCI slot or expander, for whatever reason, would never work because the modern BIOS always assigned whatever was plugged into the PCI slot as whatever ISA interrupt, and it wouldn't accept that 2 cards were inserted because it never expected that to occur.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing. We don't think about like DMA, IRQs, things like that today because PCI Express and beyond just automatically do everything. And like, we don't set those configs anymore. And even the PCI era was half and half. Yeah. Like, PCI started we always talked about plug and play being plug and pray, but no, plug and play was a damn good thing. And that's what we use today for everything. Right. All it is just auto configuration of how hardware communicates with one another. Yeah. It just took a little bit of time to get the drivers and the hardware and everything, speaking the same language.
Yep.
But yeah, I can understand that because I was going to say like, how jank can we go with this? Can you do like a PCI to PCI Express adapter, a PCI Express to multiple PCI adapter, and to start bridging chips together to see how complicated we
In
can make it?
theory, I could put a board with PCI Express in there and get enough backwards compatibility, and because all I would need is video and sound. Like I don't need much
Yeah.
more than that out of a modern thing. And so as long as I can get a PCI in there, it would work. But yeah, the boards that I was trying, every modern BIOS would automatically set whatever IRQ for the one card that you would put in there, and the second slot would never work. Unless you only use the second slot, and then the second slot would work.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you can only have one device in there because like basically the IRQ may have been a physical lane on the interface rather than dynamically allocated. Because that's the thing, like a network card today can easily have 8 or 16 IRQs.
Right.
But they do that because we're dealing with multi-core CPUs where each IRQ is actually allocated dynamically to a different CPU. And so as packets come in, it will actually distribute the load of the processing of the network card.
Yep.
So just, again, the whole thing with Circuit Rewind, the hybrid of modern and retro tech is like knowing like the full history of this stuff, right?
Yep. So I eventually gave up my goal and I built myself a Windows XP machine. Because most of the games that I wanted to play were from the late 90s era. It was like the 98 through 2002, which we're getting better with emulation, but we're still not there with emulation.
Yeah.
And I wanted a physical machine to be able to go back and play all those old games. And so I eventually achieved my goal by like lowering the bar enough.
Yeah, I need to go back and check to see what the status is of the A0486 FPGA core. Because like it's a decent 486 core for running DOS and Windows software, but if you try to load up any of the open source operating systems, for whatever reason, like all the BSDs at least, the bootloader itself, the very first stage of the bootloader will immediately bomb. Like it's trying to do some sort of like changing the CPU mode from one to another or something, because that was very common back then. CPUs default to 16-bit and you have to tell them to go to 32-bit. And I think the way they're doing that, or something similar to that in the old boot process, just completely bombs and it crashes out before you even get the logo saying it's BSD.
Yeah.
One other quick tidbit. It wasn't in your news notes, but I'm going to bring it up now since we're talking old hardware.
Oh, boy.
Recently, a lot of people have discovered that there is a modern NVMe driver for Windows NT4.
I did see that news pop up a couple of weeks ago. Yes.
Yeah. And I do believe they actually have it working on 351 as well.
I did see that, yeah.
And it works on 2000. So yeah, I'm really curious how new of hardware we can now use to run really, really old Windows.
Right.
The only downside, though, is that, like we were saying, gaming, most games will not run on NT4.
Right.
Most will work on 2000.
Yeah, we eventually got it working on 2000, but back in that day, it was still very much a crapshoot until very late in that generation.
Well, the games will run on 2000, but usually what it is, and I did a lot of this hacking myself, the installer just made a flat generic check if you're running 9X or NT.
Right.
Because they only knew of NT4, they didn't know about NT5 that came with DirectX. NT4 didn't have that. Or we're going to ignore what versions it had it for the sake of argument here. And so they'd just be like, oh, you're NT, you can't game, whatever, done. And so on 2000, you had to hack it to trick it into thinking it's 9X.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you got past that, games would run flawlessly. Like, 2000 was such a great operating system otherwise.
I really love some game installers that they said Windows version must be greater than 95.
Yeah.
And then if you try to install on Windows 7, it goes, nope, sorry, 7 is less than 95.
That's also why we never got a Windows 9.
Right.
Because there's still software that makes a check, oh, Windows 9X, well, you're running Windows 9.9, so
right.
We're going to fail. And yeah, Microsoft actually famously published articles talking about that's why there is no Windows 9.
Yeah,
it wasn't just a community joke.
Yeah, it would break compatibility for so many things. It wasn't worth it.
StarCraft famously did run on NT4 from Not a Professional. Yeah, there were a few things here and there that could run on different stuff. Like there's been some memes floating around about the WinG graphical system that predates DirectX. WinG was an extension for Windows 3.1.
Yes.
And there are games that like designed for 95 that will run under Windows 3.1 with the WinG and Win32 extensions.
Yep. Yeah, I believe wasn't it Lego Island was written for that? Yeah, I believe is one. There's a YouTuber, Matt KC, that embarked on a full decompilation project for Lego Island, and I think it had some early DirectX hooks as well as WinG that they had to go back and basically rebuild libraries for.
Mm-hmm.
So really interesting. Anyway, I did crack open my first beer.
Oh yeah, show that up.
So while we're getting started here, I had to buy this simply for the can itself, and you will completely understand why, Vince.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So you can't quite make out the red text, or at least I can't on the dark monitor, but this is from Level Beer up in Portland, and this is the Skyward Strike Hazy Pale Ale.
Nice.
The can is freaking gorgeous. Like
I have no idea what they're trying to reference there.
Right? They do so many like little tongue-in-cheek can arts. They had one, I believe they finally did get a C&D because their Game On IPA had Totally Not Mario with a lot of stolen assets for the clouds and the bricks.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's like you can do inspiration, but don't copy paste. As long as you just do it. Copy it, but make it a little bit different.
Yeah, parody is protected under copyright law, but outright theft is not.
Correct.
This
is not legal advice.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but a lot of times,
a lot of that tonight, probably.
Yeah. We're gonna go through documents and totally not give legal advice. I
have some pumpkin spice here.
Oh.
So this is Seattle cider because I don't know, they're close to me or something like that. 6.9%.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
What's funny is this is supposed to be a hazy pale ale.
I did not grab a glass, so I'm just gonna drink straight out of the can.
This is supposed to be a hazy pale ale. I don't know about you, but that's not all that hazy.
I like how I can fully see your face all the way through it,
and that's why.
Like,
that's
actually
why
make out details. Like I can see like the lines of your glasses, everything through that.
Right. That is the least hazy IPA I've ever seen. I bet you could make out the game behind me if I did. I did put on F-Zero X just for you.
I might like F-Zero a little bit.
Yeah. So F-Zero is playing behind me. Just so
there might be
aware.
Literally every. I think I have every US and every Japan release at this point.
Yep.
Almost. I mean, it depends on how nuanced you want to get by that commercial versus non-commercial releases, because that there is one of the arcade games.
Nice.
Yeah.
We do have a $20 super chat from Jay, not a professional. Because Vince is otherwise occupied, error 411, length required. Thank you for keeping the tradition going. Much appreciated.
And for those who haven't tuned in I don't know, the past month or couple months.
Yeah.
For all the 400s, I've been doing the HTTP error status codes of each of them.
Yep.
And I'm just sitting here waiting for 451 to happen. Which, if you can't tell, says unavailable for legal reasons.
Yes. That one's one of my favorites.
Yeah. For a wallet, yes.
Yeah. But I do something kind of fun with these as well. I sell wallets over on my website. So, I mean, he's got the 451. I have one of my favorites, the Bad Mother Flipper. Yeah, you can go to craftcomputing.store and... oh, hold on. I forgot to set Firefox again. We'll get it. Where's it at? There it is.
I think we need a tech professional over here.
This is a professional show, everyone. So yeah, we do wallets. And what's funny is I just realized this picture was taken on top of a stack of 64 gig DDR4 ECC memory. That's literally like $2,000 in memory sitting there right now.
That RAM is worth like 100 times more than the wallet and its contents.
Yeah, easily. I believe that was a full 8 sticks, and at 500 a stick, that's $4,000 in memory today, right now.
That is disgusting. Yeah, because I made the joke in your Discord earlier today. It's like, oh, what does RAM cost in 2025? It's about $1 a gig.
Yeah,
because that's where it was 6 weeks ago.
I bought that memory for less than $70 a stick. I think I might have paid $65.
All of my 32 gig sticks in most of my servers, I was picking up close to $20 a stick. But I know even when I got those were under market value, but they were usually about 30, 35 for those sticks. So it's always been hovering around about $1 a gig for the past year or two.
Yeah.
I just happened to find a good deal that nobody else caught on an auction website that's not eBay. And that's why nobody caught it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, the past few weeks, because I kept thinking, like, do I upgrade my rig or not? Like, do I not? And now I'm just kind of like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend $5,000 for marginal upgrades on my main rig.
Yeah. Yeah. At this point, a lot of the hardware that I have is the hardware that I have. And that's not
how it's going to be for a while.
That's how it's going to be for a while, I think. Buckle in, folks.
So why are RAM prices going up right now?
It is because of a couple of different reasons. Mostly, AI demand is still very much in demand, and a lot of the memory manufacturers would rather make the margins on selling their silicon to AI boards, Nvidia, AMD, whoever wants to build an AI processor and allocate RAM to that, because you can sell it for, 10 times the amount and make all the margins you want. And so all of their allocations, all of their production allocations have gone towards AI processing. They're not making consumer RAM right now. And
so you say they. Who are they?
That'd be Samsung, SK Hynix, and
Micron. What did Micron announce today?
Micron announced today, fantastic transition, that they are completely abandoning the consumer SSD and RAM market, so all of their NAND production can go to either high-end data center or AI projects.
Just wow. And so the thing is, like, okay, we call this Micron. It depends on which news article you're looking at. What is the consumer brand that Micron sells themselves?
Crucial.
Do you have a Crucial SSD or Crucial RAM in any of your rigs? Like, I'm in tears over here for this one. Like,
yeah,
the amount of Crucial hardware I've had flow through me when building for friends, family, or in my own lab here is like, that is like one of the biggest name brands in storage and RAM in the consumer market, at least here in the States. So yeah, they announced Crucial is done. Right there, like, announced an end of all Crucial products. They said that inventories will last until, I think, February.
Yeah.
And they will continue to honor warranty, and that's it.
Yep.
So, I mean, they'll keep a certain stockpile on hand. Of course, they can manufacture whatever they need for that, but they'll honor warranties. But otherwise, like, they're killing the entire brand.
Yep.
I want to bring up a slight dystopian topic real quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because this came up in conversation with some other people I was chatting with earlier today, I think it was. Right now, we're seeing RAM and storage shoot through the roof because of AI, and the story with Micron is part of it. But you and I both know a lot about logistics and supply chains.
Yes.
And supply chains are a lot deeper and longer than just about anybody realizes. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing right now stage one. That's just what I'm going to call it. This is stage one. Because it's, okay, sure, for gamers it sucks, right? For people doing business PCs it sucks. Yep. What about car manufacturers, truck manufacturers?
Yep.
How does that affect the cost of manufacturing a vehicle? Mm-hmm. How does the cost of manufacturing a vehicle affect logistics? How does logistics affect the cost of everything?
One thing that a lot of people don't understand is that a price increase at any level for any supply affects everything exponentially up and down the chain. You might think, oh, RAM prices are going up 10% from, let's say they were $1 a gig, and now they're $1.10 a gig.
Yeah.
10% increase, right? Well, that 10% increase, if you are at the scale of a Dell or an HP or whoever else,
yep,
that 10% increase is not simply, oh, here's 10 or here's 40 more cents for 4 sticks in a consumer PC. You are now paying 10% more in taxes. You are now paying 10% more in import and export. You are now paying 10% more for insurance. You are now paying 10% more at every step of the way.
Yeah.
It's not just 10 cents. That 10-cent increase might be the difference of a $20 increase to make up the cost of the infrastructure and the support and the logistics of everything behind it. And every company along the path of manufacturing that product gets hit with the same thing. It's an exponential curve.
And then the people buying that product then get hit with it. And
right.
the people using those products, like I said, that's why I specifically went to like the truck route.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple interesting things also have come out around this same kind of thing. You mentioned Dell. I do believe it was Lenovo yesterday or the day before announced they actually pre-purchased RAM for the entirety of 2026.
Yeah.
So Lenovo is probably going to be the brand to buy, at least if you're dealing with like business laptops and whatnot for next year. I don't know how much of a deal other companies have, but I do believe they only said RAM though. They did not mention storage. So they're still going to get hit probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now all the talk is about RAM, but storage is equally going up.
Yeah, yeah. Every bit of NAND is going up. NAND and DRAM.
Yeah, Jeff, correct me if my memory is wrong on this one. 10, 15 years ago, I believe it was Taiwan got hit by earthquake tsunami and flooded the hard drive manufacturing facilities.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, prices doubled on hard drives.
Yeah.
We're seeing 5x increase right now in the same short time frame.
Yeah.
And we have the historical context of what that doubling of hard drive prices cost back then. Because back then we weren't really on the SSD bandwagon yet. So hard drives were primary storage for laptops and desktops, as well as servers.
And same kind of situation back then. There were only a couple manufacturers of hard drives.
Not Taiwan, thank you.
Yeah, it was Japan, but there were only a couple manufacturers of hard drives. There was Hitachi / HGST, which was later purchased by Western Digital. There was Toshiba, and there was Fujitsu. And I think there might have been a fourth. I can't. Oh, Seagate. Duh.
The big one.
But yeah, that was it. That was. And today, for memory, there's 3 places that make NAND and DRAM, and it's Samsung, it's SK Hynix, and it's Micron.
Yep.
We had Intel with 3D XPoint
for like a week.
Yeah. I was talking to someone a little while ago about some wild speculation. Speaking of this memory thing, and speaking of this wild train that seems to be out of control, and we all know it's a bubble, and even the CEOs are starting to acknowledge it's a bubble. Every CEO except Jensen goes, yeah, unless we spend more money on it, it's gonna pop. And it's like, yeah, that's the definition of a bubble. I think it was Larry Ellison came out a couple weeks ago and said, yeah, it's a bubble. Nvidia has now, 5% ownership in Intel, and they're doing some technology sharing. Intel, a couple of years ago, tried to sell off their entire memory business, which included Optane, which included 3D XPoint, and a lot of things. That sale ended up not going through, and then a partial sale went through, basically not for the technology, but for like a lot of the manufacturing. And so they sold some of their manufacturing over to, was it Micron? I think that bought it.
I don't remember exactly,
Yeah.
but it was one of the existing companies.
Yeah, it was one of the, I think it was Micron who ended up purchasing it, but they did not buy Optane. Intel still owns Optane. Do you know what Nvidia needs more than anything else right now?
That?
Could Optane come back because Nvidia demands this type of memory? We always knew Optane was too early to the party. They were ahead of their time as far as what they were delivering. There wasn't a use case that like demanded 3D crosspoint for a memory technology yet.
There is
AI
now.
is the perfect use case for this.
You are right. Yeah, because when I was setting up my routers recently, I was looking at what storage do I put into them, and the main thing is like they're appliances; they just need to be reliable. So I was looking at not drive writes, because a lot of the 3D crosspoint was like 16 or 32 gig drives. They're tiny.
Yeah.
For the cheaper ones that are out there versus the 1 terabyte drives that I got. I was looking at total bytes written that the drive could accept. And the 16 gig 3D crosspoint can do the same as a 1 terabyte full size drive. And that's just because like the wear leveling and the resilience of those 3D crosspoint drives are through the freaking roof. And you need a lot of write throughput, not just the bandwidth, but the write endurance.
The endurance, right?
With these AI workloads, because you're churning data really, really, really fast.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, if you need more performance, you just shove more PCIe lanes at it.
Right.
Because those drives are only 2 lanes apiece, but you're going to be running banks of them anyway. Hell, do one lane each. Kind of like the crypto mining GPU days.
Right.
Just 1 lane per drive, and just have 40 drives, 80 drives, whatever in a single system. You got your bandwidth, you got your throughput, you got your resiliency, like that. Amazing.
And not only that, but the latency, the lookup times are the other thing that is vastly superior on Optane compared to other NAND storage technologies. If anyone's ever owned an Optane drive, you know that like run it through Crystal Disk Mark just for lulz, because the read and write speeds, they're about PCIe Gen 3. It's like a Gen 3 by 2. Sometimes you can get Gen 3 by 4 speeds out of them, but that's kind of where they capped with their technology. But so about 3,000 megs a second. And then you go into the randoms, the next couple of tables, the random 1K, random 500, random 32. That random 32 score on like any drive that you test, even today on like Gen 5 drives, you'll get 15,000 megabytes per second. And then your non-sequential 32 will be about 50, maybe 70 megabytes per second on a really good drive. Optane disks can do like 400 megs.
So as a database admin, I like certain technology, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because the databases are all QDEF1 IO, basically. There's no way around it. And it's just random QDEF1 everywhere. So the lower the latency is all you care about in that world.
Yeah. It's how quickly can I find the data that I need to access, and then how quickly can I pull it up?
Yeah, because the thing is, like in the database world, you're doing 16K chunks always.
Yeah.
Like you're never doing anything larger than that, because that's just how databases are allocated. You're pulling like a single row out of a table. You don't need to pull 8, a gigabyte or whatever per second when you're pulling like Bob and his address. I mean, that's the world that I live in.
Yeah. So look, I know nothing, but if I were Nvidia, and as Jay points out, number one, I ticked off Jay. Jeff, do not give me false hope. Gonna make me call Vince Vincent now. And then Optane IOPS were stupid, dummy, stupid high. Guess what kind of workloads life sciences has a whole lot of?
Yep.
This. Guess what kind of workloads AI presents? Random seek.
Yeah, tons of it.
Yep.
Tons of it.
Yep. And right now they're throwing HBM3E at the problem, which...
That's on the RAM side, yes, which helps.
Right.
But you still need it on the storage side, too.
Right. But what if we didn't even need it on the RAM side?
I mean, we could just go back to the days of NVDIMMs.
Right.
Because if you think about it, a one-use server just packed full of NVDIMMs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of storage and RAM because it acts as both.
Mm-hmm.
For those unaware, the NVDIMM, like I have one sitting in my storage unit. I'm debating if I'm going to put it in the server or not.
Mm-hmm.
One stick, the size of RAM, and it fits into a RAM slot, is 0.5 terabyte.
But now think of some of the technologies that exist now that didn't exist when Optane was struggling. We have resizable bar as standard.
Yeah.
You also have GPU direct storage.
Yep.
You can directly assign an NVMe drive as memory for a GPU. That wasn't available 4, 5, 6 years ago. What happens if we put a modern Optane drive and just slam a whole bank of them into like an NVL72 Blackwell box? Yeah, it's slightly slower overall bandwidth, but the latency gets down to near HBM levels. And if you can cram literal hundreds of terabytes of this instead of 288 gigs per card, if we could throw a terabyte per card or 2 terabytes per card, is that worth the, max sequential throughput hit that you're going to take? Could be.
Yeah. Yeah, so this brings up another idea that I was thinking about earlier today is if we go back to the crypto boom, we were always joking that companies like Nvidia could technically pull out of the consumer market because they were making so much money in the crypto boom on just selling GPUs for mass compute, right? Mm-hmm. We have obviously Micron just did that today, which is crazy. But the reason I was saying early on that Nvidia wasn't going to do that is because they needed gamers specifically. Because a lot of the tech was being pushed by games to push vector compute forward, at least in that era, not today. And you needed the cards in the hands of developers to write software, because without software you don't have hardware. Mm-hmm. Where was I going with that? That's why Nvidia never pulled out, right? And you brought up an interesting point with the GPU direct storage. That's actually that was a gaming technology first before it went into AI.
Right.
Microsoft Direct Storage, part of DirectX. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the advancement of the technology was still going through consumer spaces and developer spaces before it moved its way up the stack. Like it started low and moved up. And so I was always like, okay, we have a safe haven where NVIDIA's not going to cut us off, AMD's not going to cut us off, Intel's not going to cut us off. We'll still have something. It may be more expensive, but we're still there. And looking at Micron, that doesn't exist because of their storage and RAM. And so while it's a shocker they pulled out of the consumer space, it's also not a shocker because we've been joking about this since the crypto boom.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, it stings, but also like, we kind of called it 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
They were just the first big one to really pull out. And it's scary because any of the other companies can do it in any second at this point, even the GPU and CPU companies.
Yep.
Because there is enough people have access to high enough hardware that development is like the DGX Spark or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like NVIDIA's now selling a developer platform, so they don't need the consumer cards to be developer hardware anymore.
Yep.
So yeah, we're getting into really weird, scary, unknown territory here, and today was just day one.
Yeah. The fear is that Nvidia may, like you said, all of these companies may decide the consumer space isn't worth it to exist in. I don't know if they all pull out, but the problem is that gives each space a de facto monopoly. So if Nvidia decides to pull out of consumer, all of a sudden AMD is left with basically a de facto monopoly when it comes to consumer graphics. I don't know that that's necessarily a terrible thing, but at the same time, it's going to be a step backwards for consumers, for gamers, for everything. Competition drives innovation, and if there's 100%. no one nipping at your heels, or if you're not chasing something, there's no need to really innovate. Look at Intel through the 2010s.
Yeah, I was going to say Intel 14.
Right.
plus. How many pluses did they get to at the end?
Officially, I think it was 3.
I'm living in that same world right now because, like I mentioned in a recent video, I've upgraded to Ubiquity networking hardware, and it's like, how many pluses have they put on PoE at this point?
Yeah. Right.
Give it a new name finally, please.
Yeah, what does the 4th plus do? 140 watts?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
it's nuts.
They're competing with USB on naming schemes.
No, we haven't gone PoE++ Gen 2x2 version 3. Yet. We're getting there, but not yet. Speaking of all this AI stuff and all the AI talk, if you, and again, probably DGX Spark is probably a great transition to this. If you're an AI developer or a startup or a business and needing to implement your AI workflows, you've probably run into the same wall as everyone else. Skyrocketing GPU costs, complex billing, and vague promises about data privacy from cloud providers. That's where Verda, formerly known as DataCrunch, steps in. Europe's first AI cloud hyperscaler built for developers and IT teams who actually care about where their data lives and how it performs. With Verda, you get instant access to high-performance Nvidia GPUs, optimized clusters for training large AI models, and serverless inference with auto-scaling, all without waiting days for provisioning. And starting this month, Verda is among the first to offer Nvidia's B300 GPUs, ready to be put to use in your most demanding workloads. But here's a big one. Privacy and data sovereignty. With all of Verda's servers residing in the EU, they are protected. Sorry, good lord. I cannot read tonight, and I don't know why. With all of Verda's servers residing in the EU, they're protected under GDPR and some of the world's strictest data privacy laws. You get secure ingress and egress of all of your data with no hidden compliance headaches. What's more, Verda data centers run entirely on renewable energy, so your AI workloads don't just run fast, they also run green. With dynamic pricing, you can save up to 50% compared to traditional clouds, scale up when you need, scale down when you don't, and pay only for what you use. So if you're ready to move your AI, analytics, or enterprise workloads to a cloud that's fast, affordable, private, and sustainable, then you'll want to check out Verda by following the link down in the video description. Again, that's verda.com. Follow the link down in the video description, and a huge thanks to Verda for sponsoring today's episode.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. The first time you did that read, I'm like, okay, it's another company. And then you're like, oh yeah, we use renewable energy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's before the crap today with Micron, that was the number one complaint is the energy consumption and whatnot.
Right.
And like there are solutions to it. That's something that I try to talk to a lot of people about. It's that like we can't just complain about something. We have to think about it like a society and engineers.
Yeah.
There's a problem, let's engineer a solution to that problem, not just completely axe it. Because if we use that mindset, let's stop driving cars entirely because gas pollution is terrible. It's worse.
Right.
Just straight up, it is worse than what's going on with data centers. So yeah,
it's just data centers are finally catching up.
Well, the other problem though is that like data centers are centralized too.
Yeah.
So there's not actually that many of them that are at this hyperscale level.
Right.
So that's the other thing is like they're comparing like one location might be doing something bad, therefore people say all of them are bad. And I'm like, no, there's thousands upon thousands of data centers. Like,
yeah,
like I don't have a water supply issue, I don't have a power issue. There's a data center a block from my house.
Yep.
The next closest one is 3 blocks away. From there, there's another one 4 blocks away.
Every major city has data centers in the heart of the city. Every single one has sprawling data center, and you'd never know it.
How are you watching YouTube right now?
Right.
Like, or podcast if you're listening to this later. Like, that's handled by data centers. Not all data centers are just AI data centers. This isn't a thing that just started recently. Like, you and I have both worked in data center infrastructure for most of our careers. I mean, that's
Yep.
why we love doing this. And that's why we take old data center hardware, bring it home, and make our home labs.
Right. Because I always wanted to play with it when I was like racking it up, and it's like, oh, now I can take it home and like tinker with it and do crap that I wouldn't get paid to do. This is awesome. It's why I love doing what I do now.
One of the things that I love specifically is that for the past 3 jobs that I've had, being a database admin, my home infrastructure is actually more powerful than my work infrastructure now. I have more compute, more storage, more network bandwidth. I can handle higher workloads and all this stuff. And I'm just doing this, I call it home prod instead of home lab because I do run production workloads at home, but my systems sit 99% idle versus, the ones at work that get hammered constantly. But I can scale up well beyond what I'm doing on my day job here at home.
Compute wise, it took me less than 18 months leaving my job for my server rack to surpass the compute of the data center that I used to work in, like our home office. We were a company that we were 270 people ish. But we also supported multiple different businesses, multiple different locations, and all that infrastructure ran back to us. We would run fiber everywhere. We would host data. We would host services and everything else. And so 30 different organizations were kind of tied back to our home office. And within 18 months of quitting my job, I had more compute than that entire organization did.
So one of the jobs I had, it's been 8-10 years ago at this point, probably, let's just say a decade. It was an e-commerce platform, and their entire platform was running on a Dell T710. So that's, I think that predates E5s. I think it was like a 55 or 5600 Intel. Dual socket, quad core per socket, so 8 core, 16 thread. 48 gigs of RAM, running VMware, and probably about 20 VMs under it. Back then we didn't need to allocate that much RAM to most of the VMs. My framework laptop I'm using right now for this is let's see, how many more cores do I have? I think it's a 12-core laptop right now, but like 64 gigs of RAM versus their 48. And their storage was I think we had 8 500 gig drives in a RAID 6. And I'm just like, I have NVMe on this laptop that just destroys that. And it just blows my mind that I can basically walk, a cell phone can basically beat that old 710 that I used to do high-end production e-commerce workloads on.
It's kind of nuts. Gosh. The machine I'm touching right now, this is on loan from Dell. This has it's a modest system. Has an Intel 285K, so 24 core, 8 performance core, 16 efficiency core, 128 gigs of RAM, non-registered ECC. So it is the higher end of the platform. 4 terabytes of NVMe, cool. And then an RTX 6000 Pro Blackwell workstation.
Only the best of the best.
Yeah, with 96 gigs of VRAM. Right here. I'm touching it. Yeah.
That puts me to shame. While the framework, this is the original framework, and all I did was swap the motherboard in it. So it's still retroactively called the Framework 13 now, with a 13th gen chip.
Nice.
It had a 11th gen when I got it, and that's I bought one of those Cooler Master cases, so it actually is a little desktop PC now.
Nice.
And then so I have that for your stream, but I wanted to have chat on a different screen so I didn't have to worry about screen space and having a second monitor on this. A buddy of mine named Kraz has this laptop that he's letting me use.
Oh no.
Yes. This thing is kind of a beast. Desktop class 1080. Think about that in a laptop, right? Now double that. Yeah. So 2 desktop class 1080s in SLI in a laptop.
Yeah.
Earlier in chat, I didn't see who it was mentioning the that Micron makes MXM boards, and that's what this actually is. MXM is like it's a different form factor for PCI Express designed for laptops, or there's some servers that have carrier boards for it. Like in your Discord, we were looking at carrier board. I think Green might have been the one that shared it. That had 4 MXM slots.
I bought one.
Oh God, that's right. Is that one using a PLX or is it bifurcation?
It's bifurcation.
So it'll take a 16x
actually
slot.
no, because MXM is an X8. This might have a PLX on it.
Which that would be really freaking awesome. Granted, you still only have the 16 lane upstream bandwidth, but depending on what you're doing, that means you got that burstable bandwidth to each of the slots.
I bought.
And yes, this laptop is thick.
I bought and it's from HP, an MXM carrier board that was used for machine learning back in the day, what we used to call AI. Oh, good God. I hadn't seen the power brick yet.
Yeah, it's sitting. The power brick actually has a display on it telling you how much power you're using because this is a 700 watt brick.
That's cool.
Inside of here, it looks like it might actually just be a normal server power supply.
That looks like an SFX power supply.
Yeah.
Or a Flex ATX, excuse me.
It's either Flex ATX or just a flat out server power supply.
Yeah.
It's one of those form factors. But yeah, it's about 700 watts.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, they are desktop 1080s, and when I was benchmarking and I had all the hardware monitor stuff up and running, they were pulling 180 watts a card in SLI.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the 1000 and 2000 series Nvidia mobile cards is they were not cut down; they were the exact same chip as you got in the desktop, and so yeah, a 1080 in a laptop was a GTX 1080.
The only limiting factor is thermals. That's it.
Thermals and power. They would cap them at 180, although you can still unlock it. Yeah. But yeah, if you give it cooling, it'll ramp.
Yeah, and like in this one, like power is not the limiting factor. Like I said, there's the 700 watt brick, and it does its job.
Yeah.
I think when I was running Heaven on this thing with SLI, it mainly was just the thermals that eventually became the limiting factor.
Yeah.
But we're talking like 2 to 5% performance hit. Like it was negligible. And when you have a pair of 1080s and SLI and the type of games I play, I don't care.
Yeah.
Spoilers, lossless does work. I don't want to get too much into the details yet what I'm doing with this, but I will say Crab Champions, lossless, 1440p, 144 hertz, which is what this screen is.
Yeah.
I may or may not have done that and validated that.
That's awesome.
And there may or may not be other hardware toys for this in the mail right now. I'm going to have fun with this.
there is I'm not going to give away any details, but there is a role in my server on the Discord server, patreon.com/craftcomputing. Join the Discord server, become part of the awesome community.
Come chat with us every day. Like I said, I live in there 24/7 because I'm bored when I'm at work and I work from home. So I'm in there all day.
Yeah, this is what we do all week. There is a role in the server called Expensive Idea Shill, and it's a badge of honor. It overrides every other role, and you get a bright green color in the Discord for your name.
There's 3 people that have it, or 4?
I think there's 6 in total now.
Okay.
Yeah. AJP was the first, and then Yakto. You're on there.
Am I? I actually don't think I have it.
I thought you were green.
No, I'm green because I'm the other green, which is a YouTuber.
Oh, you're Embassy. That's right.
Yeah, I'm Embassy.
Okay.
I'm not an expensive idea shield.
Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna look up the role right now. I'm gonna set the record straight.
Yeah.
So yeah,
when I started the YouTube channel, I guess it's been 2.5 years now. You just immediately added me to the Embassy role.
there are 4.
That's what I thought.
There is AJP.
Yep. Which is number 1.
Zeus.
Green.
Elmo.
Oh, it's right. Elmo just got it. Yeah. Green has tried so many times and has gotten really close. Green is our resident... how do I put this nicely? That's a really stupid idea that I would love to see come to fruition. He's come so close with so many different, like, hey, go buy this thing. And in fact, he did make me just spend money on that MXM carrier board. So we'll be seeing that on the channel eventually, probably, hopefully, maybe. But that was also under the threshold. The general consensus is make me spend $500. If you can post a link and I can come and it intrigues me enough that I go out and buy something and that something becomes a project on the channel and the dollar amount is over $500, you get a badge of honor. I haven't hit $500 yet, but I did make you spend some money the other day. And by you, I mean, I gave you the money to spend it.
Right. The money arrived in my bank account and immediately left.
And I love that because that was on a Wednesday about an hour before you went live on the show, and we were just joking. And I'm like,
it was 20 minutes before I went live on the show.
Well, what were to happen if like somebody just opened PayPal and you just magically had money, and then like within 5 minutes you posted the pay screen?
Yep. But what's funny is I have the same effect on you, and that was the whole point of going down this tangent. Is I've made Vince spend some money a couple of times.
Yeah. So the reverse expensive idea shield. Granted, it was a 300 plus shipping, I think.
Yeah.
Or 300 plus tax rather. It's 300 otherwise. That's one of the upgrades, but you got me hunting down to the path for the other upgrade for this thing. The other upgrade is actually more complicated, but luckily there's a great community around this laptop too.
Because what's the CPU in this laptop?
Right now it's a 6700K.
That's a great answer.
And specifically, think of those numbers in that letter and what that means.
It is a Skylake desktop i7 6700K.
Yes.
Socketed. There is a LGA mount inside of that laptop, which means you can put other things in there.
And
just floating that out there.
There's eventually, I need to go read up on it more because that's not what's in transit right now.
Yeah.
The laptop this one says EVOC, but it's if you look up Clevo, CLEVO.
Clevo, yeah.
All of these various laptops that are all this weird crap, they're all Clevos rebranded by whoever is selling them.
Yep.
So if you look up Clevo on Google or eBay or whatever, you'll see either this system or similar generations of it because they've made generations up and down the stack that I've been looking at. And like I said, there's a really good community around this for hacking these laptops, and I'm really, really interested in doing that. Yep. But it requires risky BIOS modifications.
Yeah, some tweaking is involved because technically Skylake and Kaby Lake can use the same chipset, the 100 series chipset. They are compatible, they're pin compatible, everything works. Intel changed the socket and the chipset to 200 series when they went to Coffee Lake and whatever ninth was called. I always forget ninth. But you can drop an 1151 into an 1150 socket. Like it fits. And most of the pins terminate to where they need to go.
There's modifications that have to be made.
Yes.
Like I said, I haven't fully looked into it yet, but then the question becomes, do I just go balls to the walls and get like an 8-core chip and put it in here? Or do I go knock on my brother's store? Because at PDX LAN, hey, like, PDX LAN.
I mean...
Wow, that was not planned, by the way.
I know it was not. I noticed it earlier.
I was actually going to wear an Nvidia shirt tonight because of all the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it in my laundry. But my brother... The one you actually don't know, Jeff, my other brother, who's only been to PDXN a couple of times way back in the day, actually won the special edition 8088K.
He's got an 8086K.
Or 8086, yeah.
Yeah.
So my other brother has that sitting like either in a rig or on his desk right now. And if it's in his rig, I will just go buy him a new rig.
Yeah.
Or just, I got parts, whatever.
Yeah, just ship him one. Yeah.
No, I mean, I see him all the time. Like, he's local still. So
nice.
And the fact that, like, sure, here while I'm on the show and at home, I drink ciders. Let's just say he works at a bottle shop.
Nice.
So he's frequently bringing interesting things home for me to try.
Vince, how have I not met this brother?
Because he doesn't come to LAN anymore. But the thing is, because I don't usually keep up much on the drinking news out there like you guys do, other than the show. And one day he just came home with the Doritos bottle. Have you had that yet?
John has over at Hops and Brews.
I actually contacted him because John was struggling to get a bottle at first, and I actually offered to ship him down this bottle or bring it with me down.
No, I'm pretty sure he ended up with the bottle.
He did. Like we chatted about it. He ended up getting one of his own, so I didn't need to bring it down.
That's right.
But it tastes like Doritos, but I will also say simultaneously it tastes like wrong. This is a bottle where everybody in the family has had one shot and only one shot of it. But it does taste like Doritos.
Yeah. Yep. No, there's a couple of bottles around here like that.
You try it once, you're like, it is what the label says.
I know what that is now. Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm moving on now.
Steve, El Polo Diablo, had a peanut butter whiskey that literally tasted like a peanut butter parfait from Dairy Queen. Like
Interesting.
It was regular. It was whiskey that tasted like salted peanuts and a little bit of chocolate.
I've had things similar to that, but not that exactly.
Yeah. It was like peanut brittle or like I said, like, the best thing I can equate it to is the ice cream because there was a little bit of chocolate to it too.
One of my favorites right now that he brought home recently, though, is I believe it's also in the whiskey family, but it's Dunkin' Donuts flavored, and it's co-branded with them.
Yeah,
but it is just that nice sweet, like you're just drinking chocolate and it's dangerous, or you're drinking sugar. It's dangerous because on that one you do not taste alcohol.
Right.
So like if you've had like a rum chata. Yeah, so how that's just really smooth. You don't really taste alcohol. It's just you're drinking just like a sweet drink.
The Kirkland eggnog from Costco.
Yes. Yeah, you get that every year. Yep.
I get I buy 2 or 3 bottles, and in fact, I cracked my first one of the season open yesterday. So
mine always starts on Thanksgiving or the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, usually I start on Thanksgiving. I waited another week on this one, but
like I said, I do all these different drinks when I'm visiting my brother, and I go to his house on the holidays.
Yeah.
So I spend Thanksgiving there. I spend Christmas there. So my Thanksgiving and Christmas is just perusing whatever is in his collection that he happened to have those days.
Yeah. So I have reached the end of my first glass, and so I'm going to crack open
I'm done. So.
Yeah, my second beverage here. Speaking of slightly obscure beverages, I'm a huge fan of barrel-aged beers. Can't get enough of them. No matter what the barrel is, I'm usually pretty happy. This one is from Gigantic Brewing Company up in Portland, local here. It is the Pipe Wrench IPA. Clocking in at 8%. Okay, it's an IPA. Cool. It is barrel-aged, which is weird for an IPA. This one is gin barrel aged. I saw
That's
this
different.
and I had to have it. I love whiskey, but I also love gin, and the idea of a gin barrel aged IPA, just, I haven't tried this yet, so we're gonna explore it here live. I'm gonna use my my Secret Santa bottle opener here of the Santa drinking a bottle of beer. I'm gonna crack that open, and while I'm pouring it, I'm going to attempt to multitask and read the second sponsor spot, because this video has a second sponsor, and that is Meter. Managing networks can be a pain, and anyone who's ever built out a business network knows that you've got different vendors for every piece of your deployment, from switching, routers, firewalls, Wi-Fi points, plus you get to juggle ISPs, installers, and when things break, it's still somehow your problem. Meter aims to change that, delivering a complete network stack, including high-speed wired and wireless networking, power delivery, firewall and routing, and even cellular, all in one integrated solution that's built for performance and scalability. You pay a predictable monthly cost, Meter supplies the hardware you need, and will even keep everything up and running. They handle everything from the hardware, design, installation, monitoring, even calling your local ISP to get you the best rates on internet connectivity. You get enterprise-grade switches, Wi-Fi 7 access points, and fully managed security appliances, all tied to a single cloud-based dashboard that gives you visibility into your entire network stack. Best of all, there's no upfront capital expenses. When you sign up with Meter, they supply your business with all of the hardware you need and will automatically upgrade your hardware as time goes on, ensuring your users and your business always have the tools and connectivity they need. Whether you're starting up a new business, adding new offices, or simply need to upgrade your existing network, go to meter.com/craftcomputing to book a demo today. Again, that's meter.com/craftcomputing, and a huge thanks to Meter for sponsoring today's episode. And I almost got the whole beer poured. Look at that.
Can I just add one little thing to that?
Sure.
Again, like the first time you read that, something really struck me hard in that read. They will call your ISP for you and negotiate on your behalf.
They included that in some of their pitch to me, and I went, that's cool.
The amount of headache I've spent on the phone with Comcast and CenturyLink, Astound, anyone. Oh yes, Astound too. Yes.
Yeah. Anyone
100%.
getting the services you need, getting the speed, getting a specific block of IP addresses,
or like
transferring things.
Service goes down.
Right.
Service goes down, and you have to fight through customer service. They're like, "Oh, have you tried turning your modem off and on?" And I'm like, "I'm on Metro Ethernet. That doesn't exist."
Right. We don't have a modem.
I've had that exact conversation with an ISP. It's like the steps you're telling me to go play with hardware that literally doesn't even exist. Yeah. And you're just reading from a script. You're not even looking at my account other than to confirm my name and that I have an account with you.
Right.
So having somebody do that for me, even if it takes a little bit more time, I'm like, please deal with the stress.
Yep.
Like, having a stress reliever is worth a lot of money.
Yeah. No, this is actually something that we used to do for clients, is we would find their ISPs for them, because we'd often show up and they've got, some Comcast home or business connection and whatnot. They're like, yeah, we didn't want to pay too much, so we've got 50 megabit and 5 meg up, and we're trying to support an office of 32 people. It's like, well, that's never going to work. So I was like, okay, here's what you need. Here's the hardware. Here's everything else. We basically did that. We would come in and supply every bit of hardware and technical support and get them fully up and running to where they needed to be. Yeah, so
it's basically like having an MSP that also has their own hardware infrastructure too, that they know really well because it's theirs.
Yeah.
You know what else is a great stress reliever?
What's that?
Excelsior.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, is that the apple pie?
No, this is the Imperial Blackberry.
Oh, the black. Okay, I have
will
not had that.
Apologize to Yocto. I will admit your Blackberry is better. Yeah, it's an 8.4. It's a Excelsior. Something I like about them specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera. Do you see the UPC code there? The shape of it?
Yeah, it's the shape of Washington. Yeah.
So, are they local?
They might be. Yeah,
they might be local.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, I drink a lot of local cider, but that also just happens to be that Washington has a lot of apple orchards here.
Yep.
And
A lot of apples, a lot of hops. Yep.
A lot of apples, a lot of hops, a lot of breweries. Like cider is very much a Northwest thing. I had this complaint. I went down to Hollywood for a concert this summer, and I go to the hotel bar, zero cider.
Yeah.
Also, and I'm like, okay, fine. I will go outside of my usual realm. IPA, zero IPA.
Yeah.
Like, do you want a Coors or a Bud Light? And I'm like, no.
No.
So it felt really, really weird going down to Hollywood and getting, just the most generic of generic crap down there.
Yeah. What wood do they age gin in? Gin is a really fun spirit because it's kind of the Wild West. So spirits often have a lot of rules around what they are and how they can be marketed. Every spirit starts as Everclear. Almost every spirit. Almost every spirit starts as some form of vodka. Because vodka is just distilled grains. It's you mash grains, you add yeast, it poops out alcohol, and then you distill it off, which means you evaporate the alcohol from solution into a more pure form.
Yeah.
And then what you do from there determines what kind of alcohol it becomes. Again, ingredients into the initial mash help determine that as well, whether it's wheat, barley, rye, grain, whatever. But usually it's that second step that tells you what spirit it's actually going to be. Gin is really fun because outside of being a botanical spirit based on juniper, there's not a lot of rules around it. And so you can get clear gins, you can get very botanical flavored gins, you can get very spruce juniper flavored gins, you can get very dry gins, you can get barrel aged, non-barrel aged, smoked, all kinds of fun stuff, and they all qualify as gin. What barrel was this aged in? I don't know, because there's no rules around what type of barrel gin has to be aged in, or that it even has to be aged. American bourbon has to be aged for at least 3 years in new American oak. It can't be a used barrel. It has to be a brand new charred white American oak barrel. And so there's a very specific rule around that. If you want to buy tequila, it has to be cut from the agave plants in Tequila, Mexico and distilled and aged in Tequila, Mexico. Everything else is an agave spirit. It's why I prefer agave to tequila, is because I don't like tequila. The rule set there isn't very pleasing to my palate. I don't like tequila, but I do like agave spirits. I like mezcal because, again, it becomes kind of the Wild West. You can do whatever you want. So rum is also that way. Rum is just distilled sugar. And so what do you want to do with it? Cool, go do that. That's why you have all these different types of white rum, black rum, dark strap, aged, non-aged, white, whatever. It's more fun. There's more experimentation there.
That was a really good question with a great explanation for an answer.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I'm not knowledgeable on a lot of the stuff. I hang out with. Interestingly enough, most of my friends ended up outside of this Discord in the tech community. My normal everyday friends, almost all of them ended up being bartenders in Korea. None of them were when we met. None of them, most of them weren't even in the service industry, and they've all ended up becoming bartenders. And so I've been trying to learn what I can through them, but I'm give me, what I like, make me something, and they make me a thing, and I never remember what it's called or what's in it. I'm like, this tastes good.
Yeah.
And then next time they just experiment with something else and give it to me, I'm like, all right, that's awesome. And that's just kind of how it rolls.
Yeah. Yeah. What's funny is I love bartending on the side. I mean, there's a reason there's a full bar behind me. Is I've said this many times on the channel. My first love was cocktails. Not even spirits in particular, just cocktails. I love mixology. I love the science behind mixing all these things together and ending up with wildly different results depending on a quarter ounce of this or a teaspoon of that. It's really wild, the flavor combinations that you can bring out of, honestly, a pretty limited set of ingredients. Um, also, you know, being from Portland, it's like we have such a great mixology scene here. There's so much to learn. I mean, Jeffrey Morgenthaler wrote the freaking book on modern cocktails, and he runs 2 bars up in Portland. So it's like there's no better place to learn.
Yeah, with a lot of my friends being actual professional bartenders now, they do a lot of the local events, the bartender events in Seattle and Portland. Because I mean, we're one big happy community between the 2 cities.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like all sorts of events for the bartenders to get together. They discuss the industry, what's going on. They teach each other new drinks, new recipes, things like that, and get to sample all sorts of stuff. And I love hearing all those stories. Where I live in Seattle, one of the Seattle locations where a lot of them get together just happens to be about a block or 2 from me.
Nice.
So I'll just walk over sometimes and just bug them while they're like my friends. A couple of them are high enough up that they're the ones giving the lessons now.
Nice.
So they work their way up, and one of them actually took it upon himself to travel the entire world for different reasons. But while he was traveling, he would go to different bars in every city he was in every single night and just talk with the different bartenders there and just learn how they mix, why they mix, what they mix, where they get their stuff from, and just start learning ingredients and flavors from literally all over the world. And that was fun because it just so happened I was traveling to a lot in that era. And so he would pair up his travel with my travel. So we'd end up in the same city. So, you know, we can share resources like hotel rooms and stuff down on cost. And so we would do whatever we're doing in the city during the day, and then he would head off at night and just go do his study lessons with the local bars.
Nice.
And now he's given lessons here in Seattle.
Someone said that's a very meringue head. Yeah, the head on this, it's got body to it. I don't know how well you can, like, it's lifted out of the glass and it's holding that shape. It is very light, very fluffy, very meringue-like. On top. This is wonderful. This is really, really good. Thank you, Vince. Couple of super chats rolling in. First off from Zeus. So friends with Vince drives you to make drinks? Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Either that or Vince tends to gravitate towards those who make drinks. I don't know which one is more true.
Well, like I said, none of them were bartenders when I met them.
Right.
I make people become bartenders, apparently.
And then we have a super chat from Circuit Rewind. Error.411, length required. I'm still allowed to do this, right? Even though I got beat to it. LOL. I guess that's allowed. Thank you, sir. And then 808 chimes in with $2. Does Juniper Networks run on gin?
Yeah, I replied to that in chat already. Just a fun little fact. Juniper still uses FreeBSD as far as I'm aware as for GenOS. This laptop, actually, when I'm using for chat right now, is running FreeBSD 15 that just came out yesterday.
How's the drivers on it?
The best way I can describe it is you're all familiar with the history of Linux drivers and how some parts of the ecosystem have been flawless and other parts have been, cutting teeth here and there.
Less so, right.
Like I already mentioned, this laptop is 1080s in SLI. I don't think I can do SLI on FreeBSD.
Right.
But in terms of NVIDIA drivers, they're the most interesting, in my opinion. NVIDIA internally developed a unified driver stack. So Windows, Linux, FreeBSD, and Solaris, of all things, all 4 of them use the same driver.
Yeah.
So they're proprietary, they're binary blobs, even in the free open source ecosystems, but it's the same NVIDIA control panel, it's the same driver. So when they update it for one, they update it for all.
Yeah.
And they're one of maybe a handful of vendors that actually give out drivers for download on their website, separate from you being able to use whatever packaging. And with FreeBSD, it's actually called package, PKG, for installing software. So And the Nvidia ecosystem has been phenomenal. A lot of other people have said they've had issues with it. For me, it's been flawless. I've had issues with Radeon cards up until more recently. The FreeBSD ecosystem, they've added what's called the Linux KPI. So they can literally use the Linux kernel interface in FreeBSD now, not just the userland interface, but we have the kernel one. And currently, I do believe they're up to Linux 6.6 compatibility for AMD and Intel GPUs.
Okay.
So it's literally the exact same driver, just using a kernel, a Linux kernel interface inside of FreeBSD. But for other hardware, Wi-Fi has kind of been that struggle area, the tricky area.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi 6 and 7 are supported now. I have used it with a BE200. But the thing is that the actual code underneath is still running, I do believe, in an AC, which is what, Wi-Fi 5 mode?
Yeah. That's AC is the original gigabit 5 gigahertz. Yeah.
So it still runs in AC mode, but work is actually progressing quite fast now to get the AX and then the full Wi-Fi 7 implementation. Now that a lot of the base plumbing is done.
Yeah.
Intel chips work great with it. Realtek, I believe, is working decently too. An interesting thing, I'm kind of curious how I'm still considering how I want to do a video on this. I have a USB 10 gig NIC now, not Thunderbolt, and it works.
I'm gonna use the little bit of like inside baseball that I've got. Is this using that Realtek chip we talked about months ago?
I have one on my desk. So yeah, how hype I was a while back that Realtek announced that they have a 10 gig chip. And the thing is that Realtek actually announced a couple 10 gig chips all on the same day.
Yeah.
And their part numbers are only like one or two digits off from each other.
Yeah.
The difference being one of them is USB, the other one is either PCI Express. Yeah, I think it's PCI Express for the other one. That I actually have both right now. The other one, the PCI Express one, is in the MSR1.
Oh.
There's two of them in there, actually.
They had dual 10. You're right.
That is their ARM 64-bit ARM workstation in the same form factor as the MSO1 or the MSA1A2.
Yeah, this being a minis forum for anyone.
Yeah. So and minis forum, I mean, the box is like this. Like it is. They're tiny, right?
Yeah.
I do have an R1 sitting on top of my rack right now, not inside of it, because the only real complaint I have is that they're just like 5 millimeters too thick to be a 1U. Yeah,
they are really close, and it's actually the feet. It's the rubber feet on the bottom, I think, is what.
No,
no, it's not. Just physical shell.
It's the physical shell itself is about 5 millimeters too thick.
Okay.
Because the feet will just pop off. And I don't mean that in the sense you can take them off. I mean, like, I've had a stack of MSO1s because I'm now using them as routers in all my locations. The rubber feet will literally just fall off of those.
Yeah.
So no, the rubber feet's not an issue.
Okay.
Jay is asking about, not a professional Jay, would like to know more about the adapter because of the USB overhead. The issue I'm facing right now is that there are two different USB specs for 20 gigabit USB. And host adapters usually only support one or the other. One is, as we alluded to earlier, USB 3.2, 2.2, Gen whatever, like some bullshit
3.2 Gen 2, I believe, or it's 2 by 2. That's right. Yeah, it's USB 3.2 2 by 2.
Yeah,
is 20 gig.
That's one of the 20 gigabit specs. And then USB 4, they fixed the numbering scheme finally. USB 4 is USB 4 20 gigabit.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. Why wasn't it that since day one? Because they've always talked about the speed of USB since the original spec of 1.0 and 1.1.
Right.
And like when USB 2 came out, they hyped that it was 480 megabit. Like they've always had the speed number. USB 3, original 3 was 5 gigabit.
Yep.
Like, why couldn't the speed just be the generation? Anyway, that stupid BS long name for USB 3 That is the spec it supports, not USB 4 as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
And I do not have a single device that has that 20 gigabit spec.
Gotcha.
With USB overhead right now, on one device, I got 5.5 gig. On another device, which is actually this Framework laptop, I got about 7.5 gig on it. And that's using 10 gig USB.
Yeah.
So it's not just overhead, but also what we were talking about earlier with latency.
It's also interface.
It's just the latency of you have to send a command and wait for a reply, send a command, wait for a reply, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing like decent benchmarking. I was running a very basic iPerf test. There's other tests I'd like to run that have better buffering capabilities. So you can queue up data and do it more multi-threading, because that's where you're really going to start to see the bandwidth. But at least single-threaded and USB, it's unless you can get a 20 gig interface on the USB side, that's going to be your bottleneck.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really curious in that, because you can get a 2.5 gig USB-C adapter, no problem. Plug it in, it'll work on just about anything. Right, exactly. I've got a couple of them. I run 10 gig at a minimum for all my machines here in my office because I do video editing. All of my videos are short on a NAS, and it's not necessarily that I need the overall throughput. My bit rates aren't that high. It's the latency.
Always latency, yeah.
Exactly. It's making sure that when I queue up a video and when I scrub my timeline, it'll go and catch me right when I stop. I'm running a 10 gig card on my Mac Mini right now. I have a Mac Mini M4 base model with the 1 gig port because I didn't get the 10 gig because I didn't think I'd need it at the time. I have a Thunderbolt dock with a 10 gig PCI Express card in it.
Yeah, see, you're going the Thunderbolt route, and that's the thing. Like my workstation and my HTPC both have Thunderbolt 10 gig NICs that I can actually run at full 10 gig.
Yeah,
but that's because Thunderbolt is a 40 gig interface.
40 gig interface, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So there's no worry about bottlenecks there. And yes, I did plug this card into my Thunderbolt interface, and despite Thunderbolt being 40, it downgrades to 10 for when it's in USB mode.
What's fun is the Thunderbolt dock that I got has a PCI Express switcher inside of it. Okay. And so I actually have 2 full PCI Express 3.0 X16 slots on it.
Okay.
So I have not only my 10 gig card, but I also have my Decklink 4K quad HDMI adapter in it. I have my capture card in it. Do you know what else I put in there today? Or yesterday, I guess it was?
Is that 100?
100. And it fired up and it worked. No drivers, no installation. I plugged the card in, it grabbed an IP address and went, all right, let's go.
So that's something else I wanted to bring up, and it's actually going to be one of the highlights of the video. I'll actually give spoilers now on that 10 gig USB NIC. It did not work on FreeBSD doing this, but it did work on Windows. And granted, yeah, on FreeBSD there are new drivers, and on Windows there are new drivers. But when you first plug it in, you don't have drivers for it, right?
Right.
At least on Windows, it will use the Windows native Realtek USB driver.
Oh, really? Just the 963 or whatever?
The really, really old one baked into Windows 11.
Oh, the OEM driver.
The OEM driver.
Oh, wow.
Here's the thing. The NIC still linked at 10 gig. I ran speed test at 100 meg, and that's all I got on it. Not even gig. But I think this is awesome and amazing despite the bandwidth, because you want to know why? You plug it in and you have an IP address to download drivers.
You can at least make it function. It's a nice failback.
No, which means this is probably going to be the primary USB NIC in my Go bag now.
Oh, yeah.
Because it will link at, I do believe they said it will even link all the way down to 10, like 10 meg.
That's impressive because most 10 gig adapters do away with 10 meg compatibility.
Yes. So I do believe that is officially in their spec that this still links at 10, from 10 to 10, the whole range, including 2.5 and 5. Because a lot of 10 devices will do 110 or 1 2.5 10. This will do 1, 2.5, 5, and 10. It has the entire range, plus going down as well. And the fact that, like I said, it will link with the OEM Windows drivers. So you plug it in, you have it, because my whole thing is I have basically like crash kits ready to go.
Yeah.
And I have drivers sitting on USB drives, things like that. But like with this, I can plug it in. I know I will have a guaranteed network interface on any machine. And I actually had to do this. I found this out when I was actually setting up a brand new machine, and the machine did not have network card drivers initially. Speaking of which, it was actually the MSR1, now that I think about it. I did not have the updated Realtek driver on the R1, so I had to plug in another NIC to get drivers that had working drivers to download the drivers for the new chips in that one. But this one, like I said, at least on Windows, will run with the OM drivers, which is just amazing.
Yeah. The other really cool thing about this chip, and we mentioned this literally last time you were on the show, is we were geeking out about this. The chip itself is like $10 or $11, and so building out the adapter, this could be like a sub $100 product.
So I will say I've bought 2 of them now.
Yeah.
Sadly, one of them went to the Porch Pirates.
Yeah.
The first one, I contacted actually one of the vendors directly on in China, and I was able to get it for about $50 landed. The second one, because I had to go through a retail channel, I didn't want to just bug the vendor again and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, can you send me another sample?" Like it,
right?
You can only like press your luck so much, right? I do believe retail it was still around $80-$90. So today, right now, they're sub 100.
Nice. Yeah, because we can get 5 gig adapters. Like, those have been sub 50 for a little while, but dude, 10 gig? Holy crap. That's been a pipe dream for so long.
Skull is saying like links, or I'm not a real expensive idea shill, but that's the whole point. It's not expensive. So even if I give you a link, I'm not an expensive idea shill.
Yeah.
Like so like I mentioned earlier, I have 2 of the Thunderbolt 10 gig NICs right now from QNAP. And they're the primary ones that produce them, and there's 1 or 2 other vendors out there. Those are $300 to $400 a pop. So when we say like sub $100 for an external 10 gig NIC, like it's monumentally cheaper.
Right.
The only downside right now is, like I said, the USB is one side. The other side is that it only does RJ45.
Yeah.
The Thunderbolt chip that QNAP is using, they have the RJ45 variant and they have the SFP Plus variant. The chip that Realtek developed does not support SFP Plus, as far as I can tell from their spec sheets. So for me, it's kind of a bummer because my entire 10 gig and 25 gig NICs, that entire network's fiber-based.
Yeah.
And I already had fiber RAN, so if I want to use this, if I do an upgrade to my workstation, again, besides the RAM prices and crap like that, the other reason I have never upgraded my my workstation is I have the one and only AMD motherboard with Thunderbolt right now. That's ITX. ITX money.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
And it's AM4. I've never been able to go AM5 because there is no ITX Thunderbolt. So I've been dying and waiting for something like this to come out. And if I do get this, I'm going to need a media converter external. So I'm going to have to go like USB to this, and then from this to a RJ45 to SFP Plus, and then that's going to go into my fiber line.
Yeah. Yeah. That's me here is, I mean, fiber's been so cheap for so long for 10 gig that's the de facto infrastructure that a lot of people have.
That's why I have it.
Yep.
And then because it's been so cheap and I've already bought into that ecosystem, I've invested heavily in it now. So I used to have a MikroTik switch in my entertainment center, which is close to my workstation.
Yeah.
That had dual 25s running back to my networking core. And when I went to upgrade everything to Ubiquity, I'm like, why do I even have a network switch here at all? And I went one big switch instead of 2 medium switches. So there's a giant switch in my main network core now. And then ran MTP MPO cables. So there are 12 fiber strands per cable, and there's 2 of them. So that gives me literally 12 like LC ports.
Yeah.
For the cost of the 2 cables I was running previously for the 2 25 gig links that I had.
Yeah.
So I just have a crap load of more bandwidth and no network switch in my entertainment center now. and then that's what I branch off to my my workstation. So if I want to go copper, I either have to run new wire, which copper's thick and a pain to run comparatively, and it won't work well here in my office.
Yeah.
For a multitude of reasons I don't need to get into right now. Or I just get a media converter. Yeah. And it pains me because media converters actually cost more than the quad port 10 gig MikroTik switch.
Yeah. No, I
and I'm just right back to MikroTik again.
Right.
It's like, come on, guys. I just upgraded to Ubiquity for the centralized management, and now I'm probably going to have to go back again.
Yeah.
MikroTik has so much of my money too.
So Jay says, I like how Vince keeps pronouncing it like it's Real Madrid. And then Yakto says it's actually pronounced Crab Ethernet. And then the crabs have taken over. And then Skull says, I think after party crabs are happening. Maybe. For
reference, if you ever watch LTT, their de facto song that they use for testing any sound system is Crab Rave.
Yes.
So Crab Rave, it's a great song, just straight up. I love it.
Yeah.
But it also has the Crab music video associated with it. That music video was actually a very, very early tech demo for a game engine. And a lot of people didn't realize that was actually a tech demo for an actual game engine. Yeah. By a Noise Storm there. The game finally came out a couple years ago. It's technically early access right now.
Yeah.
It's called Crab Champions.
Yeah.
So the way they describe it is, do you like bullet hell games? Well, what if you were the bullet hell?
Yeah.
And going back to PDX Line, so I've been following this for a long time. I've been following him specifically and the development of this game. The day that that early access went live was during a PDX LAN.
Yeah.
I had it within minutes of it going live, and I started playing it. My brother's sitting next to me, and he sees it like, hey, that looks cool. And we're like, hey, it has multiplayer. Let's play together. And at this point in time, it was only 4-player. So we started playing it. Other people walking up and down our aisle were like, hey, what is that? And we're like, it's crabs. It's a couple bucks. Go get it. And so they get it. Yeah. And then it slowly kind of infected all of PDX LAN.
So Vince gave everyone crabs.
And at this LAN specifically, Jeff and the rest of the craft crew, through me, has discovered the crab game, Crab Champions finally. And now it's kind of just more and more people have bought it. And I swear I need to just go to him and be like, can I get commission for this game finally?
Right.
I've sold probably at least 100 to 200 copies of this game just at PDX LAN.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, easily. With how many people at LAN play it now, easily.
Yeah. So I've been aware of this game for a while. It's just I'd never had the opportunity to play it or whatever. I don't dive into new games all that often. And so finally this last PDX LAN in November, Zeus and his fiance and a couple other people were like, hey, we're gonna play crabs. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll play crabs. And so I downloaded it and I've been hooked. We played for 2 days straight at PDX LAN. Yep. Myself, Zeus, his whole crew, plus Skull and Rev, plus Jay, also who's been doing the super chats.
A lot of the chat today.
Played crabs with me.
Yeah.
At PDX
I was in one of those games until I had to leave for the Overwatch tournament too.
Yes. But then I got home and I've been playing it since I got home too. And so we've had a couple of crab nights on the Discord.
Join the Patreon. Then you can play crabs with us. You can at least watch us play.
Yeah. Jeff likes to become the spinning blades of death guy. Yeah,
yes, 100%.
The blade launcher is my jam. I have...
who was it that you were playing with last night or the night before?
That was Jordan, who's also been on the show. I was playing crabs with him. I think that was 2 nights ago that I played with Jordan. And then I think 3 nights ago, I also played with Skull and Rev, and there was someone else in there too. But yeah, we were just jamming on crabs. And,
Downloading now. Yes, exactly.
it's only like a gig and a half or maybe 2 gigs. It's not a huge game. And the thing is, it looks like a simple game at first. Like, you get on screen and you get your crab and you get your gun. And you're like, pow, pow, pow. And you're like, oh, that's really cool.
Just clicking heads, having fun.
just point and click and have fun. There's not a lot happening on screen.
But that description, though, you become the bullet hell.
you get through a couple of waves and you're like, wow, this is getting kind of intense. There's a lot happening on the screen. You get to like Island 200 and I actually broke the game yesterday where my what is that over there? My minis forum 7945 HK 16 core 32 thread with an RTX 5080 couldn't keep up with how many bullets were appearing on screen.
So I'll actually, real quick, I'm going to give a warning, actual serious warning here real quick.
Yes.
If you have any sort of a seizure warning, do not play this game.
Yes.
Like
100%.
So when he's saying that, because like one of the experiences we had this week is like with what just describing, he was actually streaming it in the Discord because like, yeah, we have the Wednesday after parties, but there's a lot of other days we just hop on chat and we're, screen sharing whatever we're doing or playing games or, doing, tech deep dives or whatever we happen to be doing. But Jeff was streaming this game and Discord's bitrate could not keep up. It was so bad. On my end, watching his stream, it was going gray because what little bandwidth was there was going strictly just to trying to refresh the luminance data that it couldn't even keep up with color anymore.
Yeah, it dropped the color to keep up with the stream.
Yeah, like there was that much flashing and data going on the screen that everything just started turning gray on the screen for me.
And sorry, the other night it was Jay who broke it. Jay actually broke it hardcore the other night when we were playing, and then I broke it again last night. I broke it with the minigun of all things. Minigun
is fun.
It is. I had to start dropping some of my mods which duplicated bullets so it could actually calculate the bullets again, because it would like fire a barrage of like 50 shots and then it would stop shooting, and so the enemies weren't dying anymore, and that was a really big problem because there were a lot of enemies.
Like the engine limit of how many objects can it track at once.
Exactly, and I was on single player when I did that. I was doing close to 9 billion DPS. And when you start in the game, you do between 100 and 150, depending on which weapon you choose.
There are things that do single digit. The faster rapid fire things, because there's DPS versus individual hits.
Yeah.
The weakest guns on the game on the first island will do single digit damage, and you're doing in the billions. With a B, billions.
Billions of damage.
Yeah. So like the game just keeps going, which is hilarious because in early access, when my brother was playing it and he got to that area, the game was only 32-bit integers for most things.
Yeah.
And so he would literally every island start overflowing the 32-bit integer, like with the crystals, which is the currency you can collect in the game.
Yeah. I didn't get quite that far. I did get into the billions in currency. I made it there.
They fixed it. It's 64-bit now, but back when my brother first did it, within the first week or two of the game launching, he had a run going where he broke the 32-bit integer with crystals, and each time, literally, he was getting over 4 billion per island.
Yeah.
So it was just basically a random number generator at the end of every island what his crystal count would be at that point. And he was just like, whatever, like, oh, I have 0 crystals today. I have like 3 billion today, 100 million today, like whatever. And he just having fun with it.
Skull, Rev, Jay, you all are in chat too. We know the level up perk is pretty great. Level up will give you a random upgrade every island. The problem is it can also upgrade itself. Last night I had 18 stacks of level up, and so every 3 islands it was upgrading 18 of my perks.
My brother at PDX Lane, he had level up over 30.
Yeah.
And it just pure chaos. Like at that point, you don't even bother shopping in the store anymore. You just You're just well, because at that point you probably have the perk that adds items to the store, and the store gets to the point where you have like 100 items in store, and they don't even fit on the screen anymore.
You should have no. Oh no. You should have seen what Surin did to the store the other night.
Yeah.
Because it'll extend out. Because when you get to the store island, you get the main like regen totem, and then it'll just start going on, and the island will expand a little bit, but then eventually your item go into the sea at the far end.
Mm-hmm.
His went so far, it started expanding the other direction.
Yep.
And expanded into the sea that way. And so it took him a solid minute to walk from one end of the store to the other.
The store is just how big. It's like, oh, am I just in like the supersized Walmart all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like we're talking about stuff like that, but like the gameplay itself is actually really satisfying. Besides just having flashy effects and big guns and bullets everywhere,
yeah.
The movement mechanics was actually what made me keep playing the game on day one, because that's important. Just the fluidity of the movement, the mouse movement, like when you do like the speed boosting, the jumping, and all that other stuff. Like the core mechanics were perfected when it launched on day one, and since then it's just been like gradual like improvement since then. It's always been fun to play.
Yeah,
because that's important. There was a game that actually was in early access this PDX land. Do you know what that was?
No.
Exactly, because I didn't push it on Nvidia because it wasn't fun to play.
Okay.
So give you a mental image real quick. You know what Factorio is in those types of games where you're building like a thing and you put your blocks down.
Logistics simulator. I hate it because I don't want to do it for fun.
Yeah, logistics simulator. Now imagine Windows 95, Microsoft Office, PowerPoints.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You did show me that. You did show me this.
You're literally trying to build PowerPoint presentations you'd have like an object generator for color, an object generator for like the page itself, an object generator for title. You had to combine them together. There's a gradient generator, so you put two colors into it and you create a gradient, things like that. The problem is that very early on in the tutorial section of it, I dragged an item from one place to another on the screen and the entire game crashed and it saved no progression. Yeah. Apparently, if you get far enough in, it will actually start saving progression. But that right there was enough. Like, I don't know how far into it I have to go to get it to save progression. And if every click I make risks crashing the entire game, like, I am not going to recommend this to everybody else. Like, and I contacted the developer. I'm like, hey, this is what I clicked on. This is what I dragged. This is, step by step of what I did. Yeah. Like, if they fix it and it starts working well, I will start. Well, the thing is, like, yeah, you need autosave. Yeah, the thing is, like, once you get past the tutorial area, you get autosave. But if you're crashing in the tutorial area, you don't want to have to repeat the tutorial over and over and over again.
Right.
To get into the main part of the game.
Yep.
So it's like, that's what I'm saying, like with Crab Champions, the core mechanics were solid on day one, and that's why I started recommending it and people started playing it. And I was really, really hoping to push this Factorio-style game. I can't remember the name of it now. Something 95. It literally has 95 in the name.
Yeah.
I wanted to start pushing that on people because it was just a one weekend only trial. But right now, until like core mechanics are fixed, like, not crashing, can't recommend it.
There is a game that I've been waiting to come out for over a year now.
Okay.
It was announced about 18 months ago. Much like Crab Champions, a little bit of roguelike. I love me a roguelike game. I love minor progression, but you're more learning skills, and you do a run, you upgrade to the moon, and then you go, well, how can I hit Venus next time? And I love that style of game. Streets of Rogue.
Yep.
Streets of Rogue, fantastic game, 4-player multiplayer, 5 levels, 4 floors each, perfect mechanics. It's great. Streets of Rogue 2 was supposed to be launched last October in 2024.
I think I remember hearing that, yeah.
Yeah. In September of 2024, they announced we're going to delay it. However, we're going to go ahead and publish a demo that should be out later this year. The demo was supposed to be out for Fall PDX LAN last year, and the demo didn't launch then. And instead it launched sometime in like March. And so I eventually grabbed the demo. They didn't have multiplayer enabled. I know I'm ragging on it right now. I can't wait for this to come out because it looks like fun. I think it's going to be amazing, but they're doing the right thing because a rushed game is never good unless you happen to be Cyberpunk or
that's not a good example.
What's the other one? The Cyberpunk turned into a good game, and in fact, it's still in the top 40 of Steam every single day.
It turned into a good game, but it was not a good game on day one.
No. What's the other one?
Was it Star Citizen?
No, Star Citizen's not even out.
What was it?
God dang it. The comeback story of all time.
Does it look like I played AAA games over here?
No, it doesn't.
Like the thing is, like, for me, honestly, PDX LAN is my break from the retro collection to actually pretend to play modern games.
No Man's Sky. There it is.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. No Man's Sky. Abysmal on launch, and but eventually came back from the dead and is one of the top 50 games on Steam as far as player counts, and it's a fantastic game now. It's an incredible game now. I like that
I see a call out for NetHack there. NetHack was a good game.
NetHack was a good game. I like that that the developer for Streets of Rogue 2 is pumping the brakes, going, we have such ambitious plans for this. We want it to be good, and we don't want to release it in a state that it's not. And what's funny is, for most intents and purposes, the demo is pretty darn solid. It's just a demo though, and there's obviously holes, and there's obviously things like I've encountered bugs and I've reported bugs and found broken features and things like that. And I've been playing it, but I can't wait until that comes out because I want to jam on that at LAN, because it's roguelike with open world with progression, and you can host a persistent server. And so I'm actually thinking about creating a craft computing Streets of Rogue server, self-hosted, that you can jump on at any time. You can build a house, you can do a thing, you can go on missions. Like,
with the current state of affairs in the world, I've been looking for more and more self-hosted stuff, which is,
right,
the entire ethos of your channel, and more what I'm going to be doing with mine. Because like I just did some networking tutorials, but like. Yeah. I miss the old days of like classic FPS, like Unreal Tournament, Quake, things like that. And, but there's other genres of games besides just FPS.
Right. Yeah. I really hope Streets of Rogue becomes the game that I think it can become. Dedicated server, open world, unlimited multiplayer potential, join the world, build a house, go on missions, but like community activities. So that World of Warcraft style, hey, let's progress as far as we want to progress and then start a new character. It looks so cool. That's what I want to do, is I want to host a Streets of Rogue 2 craft computing server. Novella sends a message, member for 6 through 3 months. Thank you, Novella, and Mod over on the Discord, and Mod over on YouTube. He's got the little wrench there as well. Beer number 2, Fort George Coconut Kvatica Stout. I have not had the coconut variant yet, and I keep seeing it, and gosh darn it, I need to just go pick it up. Kvatica Stout is, if you are interested in dark beers and you want to know like what flavors a stout should have, go find the Fort George Kvatica Stout. It is the quintessential. It has coffee, it has chocolate, it has roasty, dark earthy notes, a lot of malt, but it's not so complex that you can't approach it, and it's not so dark that it turns 80% of people away. It's such a good beer. Yeah, I bought it for him.
Yeah.
Thank you, 2024 Santa at Craft Computing.
So that
I still haven't had that myself.
Yeah, so reading that real quick, like that
that's funny.
That always throws me for a loop because here in Seattle, like, yeah, this is Astoria, Oregon, which is awesome city, awesome little town, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Go Goonies. Here in Seattle, downtown Seattle, we have Fort St. George.
Yeah.
It's not a brewery, but it is a bar that I'm known to frequent, let's just say.
Yeah.
I walk in and the staff know me.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I always see like Fort, and I'm like immediately we just call it Fort at this point. Like friends will just text me like, "Hey, I want to meet at Fort," and I'm like, "Sure, whatever." That's just kind of become our de facto, not just bar, but also like their kitchen is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's a Japanese style izakaya.
Okay.
So a lot of hybrid food, not even like traditional Japanese, like hybrid. So what do they have? Like hamburger patty with like hamburger patty and spaghetti, I think it was. Yeah, but like
I am intrigued
with Asian seasoning. Yeah, Jeff, you need to come to Seattle. I'll just say there's a lot of stuff here in Seattle I keep wanting to show you, but you're never up here to hang out with me.
I know.
It is a bit of a drive. I don't know if your car can make it that far on a charge yet.
It can.
Okay, well then.
During the summer, I can make it no questions asked. During the winter, probably got to make a charging stop. But that's not that big of a deal. But I love fusion food. I love... there's one of my favorite restaurants that we used to get takeout for all the time because they were just a couple of miles away from me, was a fusion teriyaki and Mexican restaurant.
I am highly intrigued already.
Yeah. So you would get like teriyaki chicken with, you know, either yakisoba noodles or rice or whatever you wanted, but and you know, cabbage. Like, cool, great teriyaki chicken, sounds great. But they would spice the chicken up with tacos and beans and lime and all this other stuff, and God, it was so good. And I tried to go there a couple of months ago, and they were I didn't make it to the restaurant in time, and they were closed because they're only open they're open 5 days a week. I think Tuesday through Saturday is when they operate, and they close at 6. So it's like it's a dinner place, but they mostly cater to lunch. If you want dinner there, it's an early dinner, and we rolled in at 6:05, and they're like, "Nope, sorry, we're closed." It's like, dang it. So yeah, tell you what, you make it down here, I will take you to the teriyaki Mexican fusion place and Sandy M Brewing. We'll get some fish and chips. We'll make a day of it, and I'll come up to you, and we'll figure out what we do up there.
I'm curious now, and I might try to make this myself. Teriyaki burritos.
Oh,
because like I like, or like there's a Mexican place nearby. I like to do chimichangas there, which a teriyaki chimichanga.
You have me intrigued.
Well, because remember
because I love a good chimmy.
Remember Yolo Colo last year? I don't know if he used it this year. I gave you and him the
soy sauce,
the whiskey barrel
aged soy sauce, right?
Whiskey barrel aged soy sauce, and I'm like, whiskey barrel aged soy sauce to make teriyaki into a burrito with cheese and everything else like that. Like, just blend all of the things together.
I still have probably 2/3 of that bottle. Like I've used it sparingly, but I have used it, and it is good.
It's a good bottle.
It's a really good bottle. I only use it. But recently, I've been doing some shopping at a restaurant supply store because we're trying to make our dollar go a little bit further because economy and BS and everything else. And so I've been buying a lot of straight up restaurant meats and ingredients and things like that. One thing that I found is one of our local places carries is you can buy 10 pounds of tempura chicken, which is great, but it's also gluten-free. And so my wife can eat it.
10-pound bag of gluten-free?
10-pound bag of tempura gluten-free chicken. It's it's $44. So it's $4 a pound.
You see what Novella Hubs said there. You had Jeff at barrel aged.
Right. No, it doesn't take much to get me
That's
excited.
why I bought that soy sauce. Like I saw that in the store. I heard about it. I couldn't find it when I was in Japan, but I found imported copies of it.
Yeah.
I imported bottles of it when I came home, and I'm like, I'm buying this, and I know exactly who needs it, and it was Jeff and Yocto.
Yes. Yeah, so we each got a bottle. Yeah, so much appreciated. I haven't done that with the chicken yet.
So you're saying we're gonna have a party night sometime?
I think we need to have a party night sometime. The other thing that I did is I bought jugs of General Tso's sauce and sweet and sour and teriyaki and a couple other things. And so depending on the night, or I'll make lunch during the day for me and the family here, is I'll set the rice cooker and I'll air fry up some of the tempura chicken, and then once the chicken is done, I'll get out a saucepan and just get it up to temp and pour in a little bit of the sauce, and then just coat the chicken real quick with it and sear it. And God, it's good.
And all of you listening right now and watching right now, you all thought you were turning into a tech show.
Oh, I'm a foodie and a cocktail nut at heart.
Totally. So yeah, Jeff, for you or for Yocto, this is a message exclusively for the two of you. If your bottles run out of that soy sauce, just let me know.
Okay.
I will. It's not that far from me. I will go pick up another. I will keep you stocked. So Yocto,
I can use it a little more freely now. This is exciting.
Yeah. So Yocto, if you need another one, just let me know, because I know that you have been using it for our barbecue.
Yeah, I think I might because it's soy sauce adds sugar. You make a syrup, you get teriyaki. Like that's what it is. I think I might make up a teriyaki out of that, and I might do teriyaki chicken for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a lot of people think that like teriyaki is some magical thing. It's like, no, it's just soy sauce mixed with a couple things.
It's a soy sauce simple syrup. That's all it is.
Damn it, that is like the best way to describe it.
it's add brown sugar. That's all you do to get teriyaki.
I was just thinking about this though. We are 2 hours in, and we only covered, I think, one of our news topics.
I was thinking that about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, because another news topic.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is I already mentioned this laptop. I'm sad.
Yeah.
Because I've only had the laptop since PDX Land, and that was, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah. We knew this was coming, though. Like, it was announced, but there's a difference between being announced and all of a sudden you download a new driver package. It's like, sorry, your hardware doesn't exist anymore. And there's a reason that I put this card on my desk. It wasn't for your laptop, but that was really convenient. See this card right here? The glorious, the eternal GTX 1080 is officially end of life. The latest driver version, this is dead.
Yeah.
And with it, DVI.
So, by the way, this laptop was not put here as a prop. I just hadn't cleaned the desk since the last video I recorded, and I recorded my last video on FreeBSD with this laptop, with the 1080s.
Yeah.
And just to go from that to, oh, by the way, bye. And I'm like, oh, that hurts so bad.
Yeah. But by the way, props to Bruno at Tom's Hardware for pour one out for the Fallen, because he probably knew that we'd be talking about this. I do a lot of Tom's articles on the channel because they usually provide pretty good graphics and a pretty good oversight. I like recommending them. But pour one out for Maxwell and Pascal both. They are now both officially end of life.
10 series, honestly, if you look at the entire history of Nvidia, is probably literally the most beloved. It's like, yeah, like the GeForce 3 was pixel shaders, was the first.
Yeah.
But like, not that many people are into PC gaming like it is today. And the 10 series was monumental because the price to performance was unmatched compared to like the 9 series and everything earlier.
100%.
And the when we switched to RTX, like RTX was a mess when it launched. Absolute mess. And 3000 series were great cards, great performance with no availability, like we mentioned earlier with the crypto boom. And so like the 10 series was, I think, the most beloved cards of all of Nvidia's history. So this one hurts. Even though I don't think I really had many 10 series cards until this laptop, personally. I was rocking AMD in that era, but to be fair, somebody called me out for this one and laugh with me.
Uh-oh.
I do own a 1030.
Cool. DDR4 or GDDR5?
I actually don't know. I just bought it because it was the cheapest thing, and it was for a retro emulation machine.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
I didn't care. I needed a display that had minimal rendering capabilities.
You know, honestly, what I remember about Pascal is not necessarily the 1080 or the 1080 Ti. Great
1060.
cards. Make no bones about it. Great cards.
Steam hardware survey with a 1060.
1060, 1070, 1050 Ti, 1050, 1030. Those are the cards I think about. More than anything else. Like, 1080 is great. The 1070, incredible value. The 1060 6 gig especially, incredible value. 1050 Ti, are you kidding me? Insane value. $139 the 1050 Ti launched.
1060 is number 15 on the Steam hardware survey at 2.11%. And while that percent may seem low, like that's actually huge when you consider how many GPUs models exist historically.
Yeah,
it's 15 on the list right now. So yeah, there's still a lot of people with 1060s.
Hold on, where is the chart that I saw the other day? Where is that at? I will find it. It's Technical City. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, in chat, can't forget the RX 480, 580. I have a 480 and a 570, which are almost identical in performance. Those were the two cards I was using because I didn't have the money for Nvidia at the time. And I actually won both of those cards at PDX Land. So they were free, and I was just a broke kid at that point with no money. So
right.
That's why I didn't have Nvidia, because PDX Land gave me hardware.
Yeah. We're all excited about the C machine, right?
Yes.
Okay. We're excited about the C machine.
Oh, I know where you're going now.
Okay. The Steam machine. Better than 70% of PCs in the Steam hardware survey is what Steam has come out and said. Okay?
Yes.
A lot of PC gamers are looking at the specs of the Steam machine and going, that's crap. If it's more than $400, it's never going to sell. It's not for you. It's 4K, but it's probably low settings. It's not for you. It's blah, 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 but it needs DLS or FSR to do it. It's not for you. Do you know what this is for? It's for people who are interested in PC gaming, who don't know how to build a PC, who want to get online and click buy now, get a PC, open the box, plug it in, and start playing games. That's who this is for.
And even if they do know this, I want a Steam machine because I want it as my HTPC gaming machine.
Exactly.
I set it next to my TV, I plug it in, and I turn it on, just like a game console.
I have said this multiple times as well. Like, Look, performance at all costs discards every other potential buying stipulation that someone may have for a piece of hardware.
Yep.
I love performance as much as the next guy. Like, my rig over here was a 5090. I put a 5080 in it because I wanted a little bit lower TDP, but 16 cores, RTX 5090, 4K, 43-inch display, 144 hertz, HDR10, 1000 nit display. It's good. I love my rig over there. Do you know what my upstairs gaming rig is that I spend 80% of my time gaming on?
It's not like a 3070 rig or a 3060?
It was a 3050 until 6 months ago when I upgraded to a 4060. That is my rig upstairs, and that's what I spend 80% of my time playing games on because it doesn't matter. Because it's quiet and because it draws 150 watts from the wall.
And like so that draws 150 from the wall. This laptop again has a pair of 180 watt GPUs in it.
Right. The Steam machine is probably not for you, but that doesn't mean it's not for anyone.
No, but like I said though, like for me, HTPC gaming,
right? Not
desktop gaming.
Now,
so when I want to sit down with a giant controller or like multiple controllers with friends, party games, or maybe I won't say that other thing because it might spoil one of your future videos. There is another thing I want to do with it. You know where I'm going with that one.
I do.
Crabs. Just crabs. More crabs.
The interesting thing about the GTX 1066 gig in particular is how immortal that card has been. Still 2.2% of the Steam hardware survey.
Yep.
Out of, hundreds of thousands of machines surveyed. And they are usually a pretty good metric of where people are at and what their gaming machine is. And Valve came out and said the Steam machine is better than 70% of PC hardware on the market today, according to our own survey data, which they take every single month.
What's the number one GPU?
Number one GPU, I believe, is the 3060.
No. That's number two now. What beat it? And why,
I don't know.
Why Valve is actually correct in their assertion here.
I don't know what beat it. What did beat it?
4060 laptop.
Wow.
So laptops, mobile chips are now beating desktops, at least for the number one spot.
That's insane.
And there is another laptop GPU, the 3060 laptop in the top 10.
Yeah, I knew 3060 was in top 10. I knew that.
No, but 3060 and 3060 laptop are both like up there, right? So 3060 is number two. The 3060 laptop is, I don't know, like 8, 10, somewhere around there.
It's been like top 7 for a while.
Yeah, but number one is a 4060 laptop. So 4060 laptop, and that, think about it, we're getting essentially modified, upgraded mobile hardware for the Steam machine, right?
Yeah. The Steam
Users
machine
want this. Yeah, it's number one, literally.
Right. The Steam machine, 140 watts from the wall, and roughly equivalent to an RX 7600M. Do you know what's really, really, really funny about that particular GPU? There's a fantastic chart over on Technical City that if you plug in any GPU combo, you can determine the average performance of that GPU against any other GPU. I was looking at building an equivalent, even more equivalent than LTT put together. I was looking at, can I get a hold of the exact equivalent GPU and build the Steam machine and show you what the performance is? The desktop equivalent is an RX 7400. And that's an OEM-only card, and the only way to get it is to spend an additional $500 on a PC that you buy from Dell or HP.
Yep.
So it's $1,200 to buy that GPU, and I went, that's a little rich. I'm not going to do that. So you won't see that video from me. But I pull up the chart of the equivalent GPUs. Guess what is the most equivalent GPU? It's a GTX 1066 gig. Is within about 5% of the performance of both of those cards.
So I do want to bring up one other thing real quick, slightly off topic, slightly not off topic, because I do have the hardware Steam survey result in front of me.
Yes.
And I'm hoping somebody can explain this one to me, because I did not know this, and I didn't realize they were tracking this. DirectX 12 GPUs make up 92.18%.
Yep.
And then DirectX 11 is less than 1. 10 is less than 1. 9, two different versions of 9 are 0. And then 8 and below is almost 7%.
There are a number of people who still have like Windows XP and Windows 7 retro rigs that are running like 8600 GTs. It's a weird phenomenon of old hardware that still exists and is still online.
They're running a version of Steam that asks them to run the hardware survey.
Right. That's the interesting thing.
You want to know what's even more interesting?
Steam only removed the 32-bit version of Steam officially earlier this year.
No. What's more interesting about this? That number's gone up by 0.07%.
It's people running older machines that are wanting to run. Yeah.
Circuit Rewind.
Right.
There's a reason I came up with that name.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, Steam will only show you the top 50 of any result. And so CPU, GPU, whatever, you'll see the top 50, and then it peters out from there.
Yeah.
They just say other, but other is like 40%.
For GPUs, it's only 8.
Yeah.
CPUs makes more sense. There's less variety in the CPU market, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it also depends on where we're looking, because this is all GPUs. DX12, it goes to 12.8 for other.
Yeah.
They don't even list what these DirectX 8 GPUs are.
Nope, they don't.
They show DX9, but not DX8.
I would love to get access to a raw hardware survey at one point. I don't know if Valve would be up to that, but I think it would be an interesting deep dive of like what hardware actually exists today. Specific hardware, not just, oh yeah, they run a DX8 GPU. What GPU are they running? And what games are they playing? I'm not asking for personally identifiable information. I'm genuinely curious about that machine. And
yeah, Jeff, I can actually probably answer that for you.
Uh-huh.
Granted, I'm biased. I'm in this specific community, and I know a lot of people in this community.
Is this just Rhett running Morrowind on 7% of all Steam connected machines? Like, is
no,
what's happening?
It's all of us playing Unreal Tournament on Voodoo cards.
Ooh, yeah.
And I actually know a lot of people that do that, but I am personally in the Voodoo community to a certain degree. So,
you're one of the only people I know with a Voodoo 5500. So
two of them.
Yeah, that tracks.
I did make a video about one of them. I have the LTT autographed card.
Yes, I know.
Because when they did the auction for children in Ukraine when the war started, one of their former employees who collected the flagship of every generation of GPU, Linus and Luke autographed them on the WAN show and then put them up for auction. The labs put them up for auction on eBay. And I am the winner of the Voodoo 5 card.
Yep.
That cost me over $1,000.
Yep.
I'm just going to say straight up. And those cards are normally about $500. I spent a lot of money on it, but children in Ukraine.
Yeah.
That's why I don't mind talking about the numbers.
Yeah.
Like that money went to charity, not to them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't mind doing that, and that's now a display piece on top of my normal rig that has a Voodoo 5 in it.
That has the running Voodoo 5 inside.
That has the running the custom water cooling system that I built, Voodoo 5 rig.
Do you have a video up on your channel about your full custom rig? You need to do that.
No, I've had I believe Elmo and a couple others have explicitly begged me to do a video, and I did actually record a good amount of the build of that machine.
Okay.
Because I custom PCBs from scratch. I'll just say that without getting into the rest of the details.
I have one.
That already tells you how insane this is. I designed my own PCBs for part of this rig.
Yep.
Custom power delivery, everything.
Yep. Yeah. Linus recently built a transparent PC, getting as transparent as possible.
I have opinions.
Vince's is better.
Easily.
Just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it outright. Because while they built a PC as nice as possible, full acrylic power supply. I will say they went out of their way to get a full acrylic power supply, and I did like that. So I will give them credit where credit's due. They didn't have a transparent power cable, though, and I'm really disappointed because even I own a couple of those from my G3 Mac days.
Called that out and said, where do you even, like, does that even exist, or where do you find that? And I'm just like, my rig?
Yeah, I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah, you can buy them. And in fact, there's a company that still makes them new.
Oh, no, I bought mine brand new on Amazon.
Yeah.
Novella Hub asks a full acrylic rig. And mine is actually modified specifically because I believe Linus used a more modern case. Mine is older.
Yeah.
So I had to do a lot of modification to my case for longevity reasons.
Yeah.
And I had actually had some of the same issues Linus had and fixed them where he didn't.
Yeah.
Because he showed how much flex there was in the bottom of the case.
Yeah.
So my case had 6 feet instead of 4.
Yep.
It was such a hard fix.
Yep.
What
I would do if I were you is I would make a new video or I would make your video of that PC. Don't even mention Linus because I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter. No, because I built mine over a year ago at this point. Like the PCBs have date marks on them.
Right.
Because they call out PDX-LAN directly with a lot of PDX-LAN memes.
Yes.
It was built for the fall 2024 PDX-LAN case mod contest, which also, since I was in it, I had my brother videograph that for me the entire contest.
Nice.
So with me being up there with all the other contestants, we have like nice detailed shots of all 6 table entries. Nice. The thing is, a lot of people entry and then they pick 5 or 6 to come up on the tables to actually do a presentation of their rigs. Yep. And I was selected as one of the finalists for that.
Yep.
Rightly so. I think mine deserved it, not by it.
So some people know, some people don't. I've done a couple of videos on some of my rigs. I don't like entering into the contests because I'm kind of a known quantity, and if we're being honest, if I enter into a contest, it'd be cheating. I'm not saying that I'm better than anything that gets entered. In fact, I probably wouldn't vote for mine, given like the 6 or 10 finalists that are in most of the LAN competitions. But I don't need a new video card. I don't need to win that. I don't need the.
Yeah.
I like modding for the sake of modding, and I don't think I'll ever enter the PDX-LAN modding or the case modding competition.
Yeah.
But I've brought a number of case mods to PDX-LAN just to show off.
Did you bring the Xbox case mod once, or
I brought the Xbox mod. I've brought it as a working rig twice, although it has not been my primary rig.
Didn't you actually upgrade it on site at one of the booths, or was that a different rig?
No, I upgraded it on site at the booth because I had an RTX A2000 in it, and I upgraded to the RTX 4000 Ada SFF.
Yeah, and that was my first time seeing either of those, and I eventually bought one of those cards and then gave it away.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I upgraded the Xbox Live at the LAN with that new card. And we benchmarked it there on an Odyssey Arc display, which was freaking incredible with Yocto there. So I've showed off the Xbox. I've shown off Heavy Metal, my full 3/8 inch stainless steel copper water cooling behemoth of a rig, which is still sits on my desk right here. But
my 98 rig actually sits on the entertainment center with my television.
Nice.
Yeah, so I have the RetroTink 4K that I use for it to put it onto the TV. And yeah, Voodoo 5 does, because it had such a programmable VGA chip, you can do 720p or 1080p widescreen with it natively.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome.
And Yocto says, and who gave you the 4000 Ada? That would also be Yocto, who provided me with the 4000 Ada SFF, which is why we benchmarked it on his Odyssey Arc.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was glorious, because I think you were playing a Wreckfest on that.
Wreckfest, yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Wreckfest at 4K at like 110 FPS on what was ostensibly an Xbox. It was great.
Speaking of Wreckfest, do you know what we haven't talked about yet?
Wreckfest 2?
Well, besides that, Qualcomm wrecking Arduino. We haven't even talked about the main topic that you and I discussed earlier.
The title pin, and the whole reason I said, hey, Vince, can you come on today? Because I want to talk about this, yes.
So, I mean, the thing is, like, admittedly, there's actually not as much to talk about as what these articles are alluding to, and that's actually was my reply to you.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get it out there because I know people are going to be like, "Hey, you didn't talk about this topic," so I want to, say a little bit on it.
Let's broad strokes real quick because there is a lot of fear. I would say right now around.
There's a lot of FUD.
There's a lot of FUD, right? So for those who don't know, about 6 or 7 weeks ago, Qualcomm completed their acquisition of Arduino. Arduino is a company that makes maker boards, and they are open source. I've got a couple of them. I have literally the Uno that's sitting there. Yeah, Vince has a whole package. I think I have that same starter kit.
I have there's 200 to 300 boards inside of this total.
Right. So the Raspberry Pi is kind of ubiquitous for the computer maker community. Arduino is ubiquitous to the maker community as a whole. It is a microcontroller that is easily programmable, that is open source, that has thousands upon thousands of different libraries that you can source from that are both Arduino created and community created. They have a full software stack for editing, debugging, developing, etc. Anything that you want to run on this. And most maker projects that you see, if it involves blinking lights or sound effects or relays or servos or triggers or if-then statements or anything else, is 99% of the time an Arduino or an Arduino-based device.
So let's back up, because the name gets convoluted because there's some multiple different things, supply chains and all this other crap going on, right?
Yes.
The common usual Arduino chip is an Atmel chip, which is produced, I believe, it's produced by Microchip.
Yes.
But Arduino took that chip and made an ecosystem by making a standardized board, standardized headers, like a lot of standardization around it, a software library around it to make it easier to program, and then an IDE around it to work with that software stack with an uploader and everything else. And so you can buy Arduino boards or Arduino clone boards that all use that Atmel chip.
Yeah.
But then they also made their IDE a pluggable interface. So the Arduino IDE can work with other boards like the ESP8266 or the ESP32, which is probably the two most common Wi-Fi IoT chips in the world now. Like smart light bulbs and everything like that uses it. A lot of commercial devices across the board will use those as their Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah.
And then more recently, Raspberry Pi with the RP2040 and whatever the model number is for the upgraded version of that. I don't remember what the second one is.
The 2350.
Is that what it is? Yeah. So those two chips have plugins, and there's countless other
At least
chips.
I hear. I don't know anything about the 2350.
Yeah.
Certainly not researching it for my own needs. No.
And there's a lot of other microcontrollers out there that all have plugins into the Arduino IDE. But this comes down to one of those complications with an organization and an ecosystem where the software, the libraries, the hardware, and then the company and all these other things share a single name. And so the name gets convoluted. When something changes with one, people think it applies to the other when it may not actually.
Right.
And that's what we're actually going to dive into the details a little bit here, but not too much.
Yeah. So broad strokes, Qualcomm purchased Arduino, the hardware company, the company in general, about 2 months ago. And one thing that we know Qualcomm likes to do is sweep in and buy, say, a VMware, and then radically change the license terms to monetize the ever-living. I don't have a bleep button, so I'll just out of it. And screw the customer, pay us our money. We own this now. Who is your daddy and what does he do? That is, Qualcomm is not a technology company. They make Snapdragon. They're great. But
they're
Qualcomm,
an IP company, hands
but
down.
Qualcomm, 90% of their business model is they are an IP management company. They buy technology and they license that technology out.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I do believe they've been involved in huge lawsuits with ARM themselves over who has rights to what part of the ARM ecosystem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Qualcomm's coming in and buying up what has been a predominantly open source,
open ecosystem,
with the intent of monetizing it, has a lot of people on edge, and
rightfully so.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk over the last couple of weeks because Arduino has released a new terms of service.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are starting to read it because this is technically the second terms of service since the Qualcomm takeover, but the first one that people have been paying attention to.
Right.
There was one back in September in which Qualcomm was already the owner of, that had some changes in it already, but they updated the terms of service, I believe, on November 26th. Sounds
about right, I think, from what I was hearing. And it
has some language in it that a lot of people are concerned with.
Up in arms about.
Ars Technica does a good deep dive. Also, EEV blog, Dave over there, he made a YouTube video about this. If you want to get into the real nitty gritty, those are both great places to look.
I think EEV blog did an awesome job, and that's a video, by the way. Despite the name, it's actually a video.
Yeah. Usually he does a blog post, but he's up on video because I think it warranted that.
Yeah.
Arduino updated their terms of service and privacy policy this month, which is about a month after Qualcomm announced its acquisition. Among the most controversial changes is this edition. Users shall not translate, decompile, or reverse engineer the platform or engage in any other activity designed to identify the algorithms of logic of the platform's operation unless expressly allowed by Arduino or the applicable license agreement. You shall not hack this hackable platform, is what people took that to mean.
The problem with that line specifically, though, if I remember correctly from what EEV blog posted, I believe that was one of the things that wasn't new.
That's not new.
That's not actually new. People are reading it now for the first time because nobody read the terms of agreement before, but that's actually not new.
Yeah.
The terms and agreement, if you actually go read I believe it's the very first paragraph of the current terms and conditions, this is where a lot of people are getting confused. And Jeff, I actually sent you a nice DM about this earlier.
Yeah.
The terms and conditions applied to the forums, the blog, the website, the documentation website, like all of the online interactive components.
Not the hardware.
Not the application, not the IDE.
Yeah.
I downloaded a fresh copy from their site of the IDE today because usually I just run it through the Windows Store because it's one-click install, done. I don't think about it.
Cool.
And but I was like, okay, I'm going to download this and go through the normal install so I get the full TOS of the application. And it was just one paragraph.
Yeah.
And it was just basically the usual mumbo jumbo. You don't hold them liable.
It was hold harmless, right?
Yeah. You hold them harmless for whatever the application does.
This is not legal advice. This is what we were referring to at the top of the show.
Yeah. I went earlier when I say like not legal advice. This is the section we were referring to.
Right.
This is not legal advice, but basically, the application itself, that is not the terms of service of the application. Straight up, it's not.
Right.
And the application includes the SDK, includes all those integrations, includes a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
So those terms and conditions are, if you want to go on their forums, you're not going to hack their forums. Cool. They have a source code repository. You're not going to go try to get root credentials on their source code repository.
Yep.
Cool.
You're not going to hack their website. You're not going to steal customer information. You're not going to reverse engineer their algorithms, their whatever.
The only concern I have right now, this is actually my personal concern, and this is somebody who used to actually study intellectual property law, is there's 2 or 3 words in the first paragraph are all that I'm concerned about. Because they have a vague hint that the software application actually does apply to the terms apply to that too. Yeah. But you never get those terms and conditions getting the software. You only get those on the website. Right. And the website implies it also applies to that. So that, like, if I were to actually fight this in court, I would look at that separation with how do you notify the user, where are these terms and conditions, how do they apply, and things like that. And there may be a hardline definition, but again, this is something that would be fought in court, not something we can just blanket say one way or the other.
Right.
Because with all legal matters, until you go to court and a judge says X applies,
yes,
And then on top of that, it's not just does a judge say it, is then do the lawyers fight it and escalate it to the next higher court.
Right.
It's like, there's this whole process that goes in. And I'm also speaking just here, legalese here in the United States.
Right.
I don't know intellectual property outside of the United States.
Yeah.
But
and again, this is not legal advice.
Not legal advice, United States or otherwise.
But
basically,
for terms of service to apply,
yeah,
broad strokes here, again, is the user has to be presented the terms of service and accept the terms of service.
Right.
The terms of service are presented in the Arduino IDE application. The terms of service is one paragraph, which says, if you F something up, it's not our fault. Because this is a hacking platform, and you understand the liabilities of such.
If you rm-f/root, slash, and just wipe your whole hard drive, that's not the operating system's fault. That's a user error, and you have to live with the consequences. And that's basically what their one paragraph says.
If you program a servo to pull a trigger on a gun and that gun does destructive harm, we are not liable because we pulled the trigger on the gun. You are. Like if you want to really dial down into what they're talking about. They're not presenting you the 38 pages PDF worth of terms of service that applies to the website, which I know there are vague hints that they apply, but they don't, because they're not being presented. They're not presented to the user. The user has no chance to accept the terms of that full 38 page terms of service.
They have no chance to even be acknowledged of it.
Correct.
Because even once the application is installed, I look through, let's say, the help menu, which links back to things on the website. Those help items don't even link back to any sort of legalese or terms of service or anything. The only time you are presented with that is just during the installer, and the installer does not present any of the stuff that's on the website.
Yeah.
So I think that's one area where even EEV blog kind of missed the mark. And all these other websites that are kind of throwing up the red flags are missing the mark. And honestly, I hadn't even looked into it until Jeff asked me to be on the show this morning.
Yeah.
And I did my due diligence. I looked into it, and we shared a couple messages back and forth. I'm like, hey, this is what I found today, at least. I was aware of it. The video, the EEV blog video, I had watched that the day it came out, just to kind of be aware. But I'm like, hey, Jeff, this is what I found so far. Here's this video. And then I started digging more, and I'm like, oh, this is actually nowhere near as bad as anybody's making it out to be.
Yeah.
But again, not legal advice.
Right.
Take it to court. If you have an issue with it, take it to court, because that's ultimately what matters.
Yeah, there's a bunch of interesting things in there. Now, there are some concerning things on the website itself, 100%. Where there used to be a revocable license for anything that you published to the website. So if you published a library and you made it open source, you would basically give a license of use essentially to Arduino to publish that, to share it, to do whatever. That license, according to the terms of service, was revocable though. So if you want to take that library down and no longer allow access or change your own licensure for it, there was a provision to do that. The new provision says that if you post a library that is publicly accessible by Arduino has an irrevocable license to be able to utilize that. Now, look, the open source community being what it is, I think if you post something, you agree to the terms of use, again, not legal advice, you agree to the terms of use at the time that you download that thing and start utilizing it. If the terms of use during that process are you can use this, then I think Arduino has the right to use it.
So I'm going to get into a hairy area of legalese that I've had to deal with. I have a little bit of knowledge here. Let's say somebody published some GPL code, and then they wanted to revoke it.
Yeah.
Can they do that?
Probably. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So the thing is with licensing is that licensing and ownership are not the same thing.
Right.
Just straight up. If you publish something as GPL, you are given GPL is a license, not ownership.
Right.
And those are two distinct different things in intellectual property law, at least here in the States.
Yes.
So code that was published as GPL can also later, by the ownership, be republished under another license or unpublished entirely. The people who acquired the software at that point in time, because it was licensed under GPL, can fork it at that point in time.
Yeah.
All future code, depending on which path it took, can fall under different licensures.
Yeah.
That's why you're seeing a certain like commercial companies out there buy GPL licensed products and then relicensing them with like BSL or some other license with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's also why there's also complications, let's say, with the Linux kernel where that can't happen. Right. And the reason it can't happen in Linux, the Linux kernel specifically, is because there's been thousands, tens of thousands of developers, and they all have a shared stake in the licensing.
Mm-hmm.
So all of them would have to sign off and agree to a new license, whether with ownership terms. But then there's other projects, like, for instance, I'm a contributor, or previously I've been a contributor to MariaDB, which is a fork of MySQL. MySQL being an open source license itself.
Yeah.
But when you contribute to MariaDB, one of the clauses they have in their contributor agreement, which is separate from the license agreement, is that when you contribute to their code base, you transfer ownership of the code you contribute to the MariaDB Foundation, or the MariaDB AB, whatever the German equivalent is of a corporation over there. And so they actually have ownership at that point. You give them ownership. Yeah. So that way they can actually relicense it to whatever they want, and they do. There is a commercial version where part of the code is closed source.
Right.
And so there's that whole gray area between ownership and licensure that is always missed when talking about the legalese of intellectual property rights.
Yeah, and you know, I'll be honest. The reason I wanted Vince on here tonight is Vince, you and I have had long conversations about licensing with open source in regards to OpenViro, because I have my own budding open source project that I have both open source community edition aspirations as well as potential commercial aspirations for. And I was wanting to get that licensure dialed in before we made a decision that was the wrong decision. And
we've had multi-hour discussions on just the basics of licensure.
Exactly. And so and much the same thing, like, if you contribute code to OpenViro, like, we will have probably a contributor license agreement where we are allowed to then republish your code because we have commercial aspirations. And like it or not, commercial entities that might buy 1,000 of these units, or 1,000 of our internal units that we're developing, or anything else in the future product stack that requires encryption, that requires enhanced security, that has RSA built in, that has all these other things, they need to be closed source. There needs to be parts of it that are closed source for security, and I'll never get into a data center if I don't have that. And so
And it's not even open versus closed, because like with a MariaDB, like, I don't mind contributing to them. Because one of the things that it does, there's always that clause, like we mentioned, the Arduino IDE has like, oh, they're not responsible if shit hits the fan, right?
Right.
That's also part of the CLA contributor license agreement, is that because you're then giving them ownership rights, as a developer, you're mostly off the hook, as far as I'm aware. Again, not legal advice. Because they're now the full responsible entity for that section of code.
Yeah.
So it's also a transfer of risk. And risk is something else that's really not brought up too often when talking about software, hardware, tech, any of this stuff, or you know, software as a service, network as a service. Like, there's a transfer of risk with all of that as well.
Yeah.
See, now we're getting to things that I actually like went to school for and was trained on.
Right.
Yeah, because I kind of went to school to learn about risk management and intellectual property rights.
Yeah.
I don't get to talk about it too much.
But
it's mostly
it's
a boring subject.
Yeah.
It's mostly a boring subject, but every now and then it comes up, and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of glad I learned a lot of this stuff. And granted, most of the buzzwords and lingo I don't remember anymore. Like, I can't tell you what a tort is. I just know that I know what a tortoise is.
I have a tortoise.
I know.
Yeah, she's great.
You should do what Usagi Electric does, and at the end of the video, just have like a little 10-second clip. Granted, you do that with beer instead.
Yeah, I mean, that's where my beer review goes.
Yeah, that I would say, like, for retro tech, the oldest of retro tech, or some of the oldest.
Yeah.
He has quite possibly the oldest working digital computer in North America right now.
That's kind of cool.
that is, and he got it working from nothing, basically. Like,
yeah.
Like granted, he's not keeping it at this point. It might even be transferred back to the museum, but like,
Yeah.
those are bragging rights.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. You should just have some montages. I know, because I've known you've shown like a cat or two here and there.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've shown the dogs yet though.
The dogs have been in. I know Stormy has been in one. I don't think Shadow has been. So we have a pair of sibling dogs. They came out of the same litter. And they're great. We have a pair of golden doodles. They're about a year and a half old at this point. They don't get downstairs much because this is where the cats live. Rambo goes. So we have 2 cats, 2 dogs, and a tortoise. The cats live downstairs. The dogs live upstairs, and the tortoise also has his enclosure upstairs. However, Rambo, the cat that has been on my channel most often, he kind of owns the house, and he goes where he wants, and everyone falls in line.
Yep.
Rambo is the boss. Very appropriate name.
Totally.
So it was the funniest damn thing. So this summer, late August, early September, I actually took like a mini vacation. We took our family down to the Bay Area. We spent some time down there. Supermicro half paid for it because they also wanted me down for a video. And so I told Supermicro, you have 12 hours. I will be in town for 12 hours, but the rest of the time, the rest of the week that I'm spending down there, I'm spending with my family. So whatever we get done in 12 hours. And they said, okay, cool. We actually got it done in like 5. It was amazing.
Nice.
When we were down there, we had dropped our dogs off to be boarded. And we also had them spayed at the same time. They're both girls. We had them both spayed and boarded, and so they were well taken care of. Fantastic place locally that we've been really happy with. We got home, and they still had a couple of days of rehab at the border, so we just left them there for a couple more days. And then we got home on like a Sunday night, and we went and picked them up on Tuesday or something like that. Well, the cats, in the week that we had been gone, with also no dogs, had taken over the house. And so not only Rambo was walking around, but Chaco was coming out, and Chaco was exploring upstairs and sitting in the dining room window and things like that. Well, we went and got the dogs at like 6 p.m. on Tuesday, brought them home. They were still kind of lethargic and you know, not running around and things like that. Took them out, gave them dinner, and then they just kind of curled up in the dining room and went to sleep. And we're like, okay, cool. I woke up at like 10 o'clock that night because I heard one of the baby gates on the stairs bounce a couple of times. And I went, oh, Chaco's coming upstairs. Oh, that's probably a bad thing. And I heard him jump over the dining room gate. And then I hear, roo, 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 followed by, just this long whine. And I went, that was a big mistake, buddy. So I had to go rescue him from on top of the table because the dogs are home now.
Yeah. Back in the day, I used to have two cats. So Kit and Cat, like spelled like Knight Rider. So K-I-T-T and K-A-T-T.
Nice.
And they had the whole house. Like that it was a 3-floor house, so basement and then first and second floor, and they could go anywhere. They knew it, and they ruled everything. One day we had to we were babysitting the neighbor's pit bulls. And so think about cats that have lived their entire lives. They're about 10 years old at this point, where they've had the whole house to themselves that whole time, and a couple of pit bulls roll in.
Yeah.
The pit bulls were allowed to have the front entryway, and that was it. It's like, there's the front door. When your owner comes back, you were gone. You were not leaving that little 10-foot foyer next to the front door.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I was like, those cats, like, and like, we're talking like size difference, like, you know, cats and like dogs, right?
Yeah.
And the cats were like, they did not care.
Yeah. When I say Rambo runs the house, because there's a couple people going, oh, it's fortunate that my cat and my dog get along. It's like, no, when I say Rambo runs the house, Rambo goes where he wants. The dogs bow to him.
Yeah.
Chaco, not so much. Chaco's very much the beta of this whole conversation. Chaco's on the bottom of the totem pole. The tortoise is above Chaco.
Well, it's hilarious because like cat out of the two was actually known as Scaredy Cat. That's her nickname.
Nice.
But not in situations like this, because the two of them, they knew they were a team, and if one of them wanted help, they would literally just meow for each other, and the other one would just come running. And it's like, all right, cool, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what shenanigans we getting? Otherwise, she was afraid of everything until something like that happened. She's like, all right, cool, let's go.
Nice. I got to get the tortoise into a video. I think I'll do that this month. I'll bring Jelly down and we'll introduce her, because that's been a long time coming. We've had Jelly for 3 years, almost 4 years now.
I mean, well, wouldn't it be perfect? Like, new server day, just random turtle on top of it.
Just random tortoise on, and never even acknowledge it. Just there's a tortoise on the desk.
Yeah, that would have been better a month ago for like a Halloween video and have it like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
So our turtle's name is Jelly. And we have she's about 7 years old. She's a Brazilian red-footed tortoise, otherwise known as a cherryfoot. You don't get to know their gender until they're 5 or 6 years old. They don't mature until then. And so for the first number of years that we had Jelly, we had no idea what she was. And so we got Jelly, and we're like, well, what do we name it? And I'm like, well, we got to go with Raphael. Like, of course, Ninja Turtle. We got to do that, right? And the whole
Mikey.
Not Mikey.
Not Mikey.
Well, Mikey's my name, so that gets confusing. We got to name it after a Ninja Turtle, right? Let's go with Raphael. And the whole family was in agreement. Everyone except Little Bit, my middle kid.
Yeah.
Little Bit was in agreement too. But I said, well, what about Raphael? And does everyone like that? And yeah, we like Raphael. And what about you, Little Bit? What do you think? And she goes, Rotten Jelly, because she couldn't say Raphael. And so it came out Rotten Jelly. And no, Raphael. And she kept saying Jelly. And I'm like, well, I guess Jelly works too. The really funny thing about that is Little Bit has named 4 out of the 5 animals in the house. I named Rambo, or rather I fought to keep Rambo's name Rambo because he came as Rambo and then they wanted to change it to something else. And I went, no, Rambo's a freaking cool name.
A great name.
Rambo's a great name, and it is so fitting as that cat has grown up. But Little Bit named Jelly, named Chaco, our cat. Chaco's just a little tabby cat. And his name was Charles, I guess, when we got him. And Little Bit says, hey, we should name him Chaco. And I said, well, why? And she goes, because he looks like chalk, yo. And I went, well, that just sticks.
That is too good.
Perfect. And then she also named both of the dogs, Stormy and Shadow. So yeah, she has naming credits for 4 out of 5 of the animals.
Nice.
All right. This is almost a 3-hour show, and I think that's about time to call it.
I think so, yeah. I think the bathroom's about calling it.
Yes, yeah. It's time for a bio break. Thank you all so much for watching. Thanks again to Meter and Verda for sponsoring today's episode. Links again are down in the video description. Go give those a look, and a huge shout out for helping support the podcast and the services that they provide. Please look them up. They are both fantastic companies and organizations. Anyway, next week we'll be on normal time. Tom Lawrence will once again be on the channel. We'll be taking all questions, home lab, server, open source, and the like. Should be a fun show.
You'll have to ask him about his pets.
Yes, yeah.
We'll make another pet show.
Exactly. We'll be also on, I believe it's the 17th. Is that the next? Yeah, 17th is the Wednesday after that. Wednesday this month falls on the 24th and the 31st, which are unfortunate days to fall. We will not be doing shows on those 2 days. Instead, we will be doing one super show on Monday the 29th. So we're going to kind of like pin it right between the 2 days. Still have a 4th show. Sometimes we do all 4 in December. But this month is like, I don't want to fall on a holiday. Let's do something else. So mark December 29th on your calendars. That's a Monday evening. That will be that show. As always, like, subscribe. If you like this kind of content and want to dive even more into like some of the deeper retro stuff, subscribe to Circuit Rewind over on YouTube. Links in the description. As well as follow us on Bluesky. We're both on Bluesky, Craft Computing, and Circuit Rewind.
Yep.
Vince, anything good of the order before we go?
No, just a hilarious anecdote that I mentioned in your Discord earlier, which, by the way, join the Patreon because we're going to have shenanigans in the Discord later tonight. Definitely. We always do.
I think we'll be playing Crab Game.
But you were mentioning like the schedule for the end of the month. So yeah, despite YouTube, like you full-time YouTuber, I just do it as a side hobby. I still have a full-time job. My manager this week on our one-on-one was like, hey, what days are you taking off between now and the end of the year? And I'm like, other than the company days off for the holiday, I have nothing. And they were just like, okay, well, you're now taking these extra days off. So I've been voluntold to have vacation days this month. So yeah, like my schedule's getting shifted around too because of the holidays. Yeah. So it sounds like the holidays are forcing you, even though you're self-employed, to take some vacation days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much deserved. You deserve it.
I won't be filming tomorrow either, even though I'm like really close to filming my next video, because look, without fail, whenever I need to film a video, there's some kind of yard maintenance or someone's roof being put on or something like that. This time it's tree trimmers, but this time I hired them. They'll be here at 8 o'clock in the morning, to trim the trees around my house. Cause, when I bought this property, when we were searching for a house in 2019, I had a house with one tree on it, and it was a cherry tree. And I despised
my cherry tree so much.
I despised the absolute crap out of that tree. Not only did it drop pits and flowers and everything else during the spring.
Yep.
2 doves had taken residence in it.
Ooh.
And would start as soon as the sun came up. You think a rooster is annoying? You have never heard the cuckoo of a pair of mating doves.
Never had that problem. I do miss my old cherry tree at my old house, though.
Yeah. Well, you can have that one. I hated that tree. But I don't want a house with trees on it anymore. I don't want a property with trees. I despise trees. I don't want the maintenance. I don't want the upkeep. I don't want the animals. Squirrels are okay, but I don't want everything else that comes with it.
Jeff,
we bought this house.
You do realize you live and wanted to continue living in the Pacific Northwest, right?
We bought this house. I own 38 trees.
You live in the Pacific Northwest. Like, even in the middle of the city, I remember this when I was a kid. I grew up in Tacoma, and Seattle, Tacoma, and a few other of the Washington cities in the Puget Sound actually had a contest to see who can have the most trees per capita, and had a large tree planting campaign through all the cities.
Yep.
So if you drive down streets in Seattle and Tacoma, and the streets are perfectly lined, like 10 feet spaced apart or 20 or whatever it is, and the trees all look like they're the exact same age and they're approximately 20 to 30 years old, that's because that was a huge initiative. We had I guess that would be 30. It was in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
We're getting old, Jeff. I'm sorry.
I know.
But yeah, in the 90s, we had a huge initiative here in the Pacific Northwest for trees per capita. And I think Tacoma actually did eventually win that. But that's also because they cheated because they have Point Defiance.
Yeah.
Which is just a giant forest. We're talking the same scale as Central Park in New York, but in a city like less than a tenth the size.
Yeah. Salem, where I live, is famous for our cherry trees. And the city of Salem was gifted like 100 cherry trees sometime in the 1850s when Oregon was being developed and settled and things like that. And the cherry trees just did phenomenally well here. And so we actually have the Salem Cherry Blossom Festival every year when they're in bloom and blossoming and things like that. And I will say it's beautiful. And this is where you grow Bing cherries. Like look, I'm a hop lover, I'm things like that, but Bing cherries in a cocktail, I love that. But I don't want cherry trees on my property. I hate them. I hate everything about them. And in fact, I'm removing about 20 trees from my property tomorrow. So, because they've overgrown over the years. They were overgrown when we moved in, and finally it's like, I need to do something about these before the winter comes and they crash on my house. So we're going to do that. We're leaving the really big ones, but we're cutting down all the others.
We don't need another LGR.
No. I'm trying to avoid that. So
do what you can now while you got the resources, because like watching that was so heartbreaking. Yes, most of it was saved. He's recovering, building. He's
back on his
house,
feet now,
building the new studio and all that fun stuff. But like, it's just.
But what a crappy year, right?
And it wasn't just him. It was like a whole thousands of people in his community, and that's the part we're not seeing. Like as tech tubers and retro tubers, we see him, but we're not getting the stories of all the other thousands of people who are affected who don't have the resources to rebuild.
Right. Yeah.
So it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So anyway, new video. I'm hoping to publish one on Saturday. We'll see if that actually makes it out or if it's going to wait until Monday. Yeah. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching. Join the Patreon. Link in the description. Subscribe, like, all the things. And as always, we'll see you next week. Cheers,
I got to do that hand wave I do at the end of all.
Yeah. You got your thing. I got mine.